I have spent decades of my career looking at pictures of murdered people. When I was trying homicide cases for 6 straight years as an assistant prosecutor, I would spend hours thinking about the victim whose case I was getting ready to try, wondering how they spent their last weeks, their last days, their last hours, and their last minutes of their lives. What were they thinking about? Did they know that the end was near? And if it was someone they knew, what must they have been thinking as they were shot, stabbed, or whatever mechanism of death was used and confronted them with by the person they knew or loved? I can't imagine the thoughts that goes through their minds. But it's always 1,000 times worse when the person is a child or a baby, someone in the dawn of their lives who have begun to live their lives. The picture behind me is of Zanaya, and that will always be haunting because it was taken just a short time before the evidence shows that she was never seen or heard from again. It was taken by Zanaya herself, a selfie. That's the last known picture that we know about of her. It was pointed out to me by one of the detectives on this case and by one of the prosecutors. She is smiling and waving and saying hello. But little did she know that she was really saying goodbye. We will provide to you later a very skeleton timeline of the time right before her death, before and after. Of course, the detail will be provided in court. The evidence shows overwhelmingly in this case that she is in fact deceased. The last time she was seen alive was January the 9th of this year, 2024, almost 9 months ago. Her missing status was reported to the Detroit Public School Police Department by her grandmother on that very day when she never returned home from school. And again, that was January the 9th, 2024. In early February of 2024, the case was turned over to the Detroit Police Department. Frankly, that should have happened right away, but they began investigating immediately. The evidence will further show that through text messages that we know and that we have, Zanaya and this defendant were going to meet after school on January the 9th. We know that she did indeed meet up with the defendant that we're charging in this case. We also know that several people close to Mr. Butts, who we were charging later, saw them together in several different locations, people that he knew well. We have evidence that at 9:30 p.m. on that day, that Mr. Butts checked into a motel and that Zanaya was never seen or heard from again. Not from her family, not from her schoolmates, not from her friends, not from social media, where she was extremely active with her friends.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Donna Just Being Real. My channel is all about dating, love, relationships, talks, relationship advice channel, where we learn about how to date smart and not thirsty. Okay, so right now I'm showing a press conference, and this press conference happened a while ago. Now, the reason why I'm showing, so you get a little bit of idea of what am I getting ready to show, because this is something that was a preliminary hearing, excuse me, I can't even pronounce it, a hearing that they had this week. So I bumped up with this later. So we got this creep sleazeball here. All right, let's show this creep sleazeball. Yes, we have to show this creep sleazeball. This creep sleazeball right here. His thing is he likes to prey on single women who have young girls. Yes. And what bothers me about this, because this young girl was not protected. No, she wasn't protected. Because it was another situation where a woman puts the wood stick before the children. Yes. All right, so let's go back to this, and then I will talk more about this. And then after this, we're gonna go right into the trial. What was it? Day one, the preliminary hearing that was this week, so that Monday. So we're gonna watch some of it, and I'm gonna do some more Saturday and Sunday. So hopefully y'all can hang out with me, whatever. You can listen to it, watch it while you're cooking, cleaning, driving, whatever. Let's get enough of talking. Make sure you hit the like, share me on your social media, and also blessings and Happy New Year. Let's get it.
Friends, not from teachers, no one. We know that she had no medical conditions that would cause a life-threatening medical emergency to her. And he, again,
I didn't see you, lady. Crystal clean. Blessings to you. Blessings to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Happy New Year, girl. Mod on deck. Reason.
was the last person that saw her alive. She would have turned 14 years old just 10 days ago on September the 16th of 2024. And again, no one has seen or heard from her. You look at that face and you do not see the horrors that she had gone through in her short life. The exploitation, the molestations, the sexual abuse, and the pregnancy that she was concealing. The evidence will show that from whatever text messages to and with Jarvis Butts. And we also know, the evidence will show, that there's no evidence of anyone else being the father of that child other than the defendant himself, who we charged today. And he knew she was pregnant. We know that she...
So this sleazeball impregnated a 16-year-old girl. And then he was over here plotting on how he can unalive it. This is so sad. She wasn't protected. She wasn't protected. Yeah, it is crazy, right? We got another one. Another one, Crystal. Another goddamn sleazeball on the street. But we got this sleazeball. All right, let's get back with it. Hopefully y'all can hang with me this week. If not, you can always watch replays. All right, let me stop talking because this is going to be a long night. So hopefully you got your crunch and munch, your cocktail. It's Friday night, and relax, and let's get it.
He was also searching for ways to abort the baby. We know that sexually explicit photos were requested by him of her and that she complied and sent them to her. All at the hands, we allege, the man we are charging with her death and also her long-term sexual abuse. In our warrant review process that Matt and Tina and others put together, excellent work on that. Video of 111 gigabytes, witnesses and witness statements, body-worn camera, and let me not forget, it was Tina and Matt's memo, but the work of the Detroit Police Department. Anyway, we reviewed 111 gigabytes of video, witnesses and witness statements, body-worn camera footage, surveillance video, police reports, documents, 19 gigabytes, medical records, search warrant returns, phone extractions, which came to 506 gigabytes. Today, we are charging Jarvis Butts with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder, 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, and 1 count of child sexually abusive material. Today, we are also charging Mr. Butts with more counts of criminal sexual conduct on 2 more girls, yes, girls, on 2 other separate cases. The girls in question now are 20 and 11 respectively today, but both were under the age of 13 years old at the time the offenses occurred that we're charging. We are charging that one victim who is now 20 years old, that from April of 2012 to April of 2014, is alleged that defendant Butts sexually assaulted the victim at a residence in Detroit. Further facts and evidence on that matter will be placed on the record at the preliminary examination. In that case, we charge Mr. Butts with criminal sexual conduct, 1 count in the first degree, person under 13, defendant 17 or older. In that case, we are also charging Mr. Butts with 3 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, person under 13,
Exactly,
defendant 17
Crystal. Good
years
luck.
or older. In the second criminal sexual conduct case, well, I guess the third that we're charging today, we are alleging that the victim, who is now 13 years old, that from July 2015 through July 2017, we're alleging that he sexually assaulted the victim at a residence.
Love, joy, and blessings to you, girl. We got to catch up. We got another sleazeball. He messing around here with this 13-year-old girl like he's some sort of full-blown relationship. I'll be playing the text messages over the weekend. And he impregnates her and then wants to unalive her, which he did. But they haven't found the body. I just can't, Lovejoy. I just can't with these people. All right, I'm going to stop doing so much talking. Let me watch it because honestly, I'm watching with y'all, learning about this. All right, let's get it. Good to see you, Lovejoy.
In Detroit, and again, further facts and evidence will be developed at the preliminary examination. Defendant Butts have been charged with, in that case, 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree. Child under the age of 13, Mr. Butts over the age of 17. Based on all the evidence that I've laid out now and much more that will be shown later in court, based on all these cases we will present in court, Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women who had to have sexual relationships with their young daughters. He would have relationships with their mothers, but his true desire was to have sex with their young daughters. That's what the evidence will show. He was a...
See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies. You have to understand. I understand things didn't work out with the man, things ain't work out in the marriage or your baby father, whatever your situation is. I understand. And it's hard. And you want to get back out there dating again. Some people, they might be alone, but some people get really lonely, right? And they can't be alone. And it's hard for them, especially around the holiday time. So they start making stupid decisions. And ladies, we have to stop this. We have to protect the children. You cannot let these sleazeballs, creeps, dusties come around your children because it's all about the wood stick. Really? 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 This child was not protected. No, she wasn't. It's another situation of a woman putting the wood stick before a child. And this really bothers me. And this happens a lot. I don't understand these women. Maybe they was born in a bad environment. Mama, daddy ain't teach them. I don't know. But what happened to common sense? Let's get back to it. I'm going to rewind this a little bit because we really need to listen to this, what this lady's saying.
Is with their young daughters. He would have relationships with their mothers, but his true desire was to have sex with their young daughters. That's what the evidence will show. He was a classic and expert groomer and pedophile. It's incredibly sad, incredibly unspeakable, and we want to bring justice to her and her family. I have to take this moment to say something to you. And this is not directed at all at Naziah's family, who by all accounts had many in her family that truly loved her. This is directed to everyone else listening to me now. We must be very careful who we let into our hearts and our homes and our lives, especially if you have children. We must be very careful who we have around our children and elders respectively. We must also be very careful who we leave our children with, even if they are in relationship partners, family, and friends. I'll say that again, even if they're relationship partners, families, or friends. Life can be hard enough at times, but when it comes to our children, we must be deliberative, we must be diligent, and laser focused on their safety. And sometimes we must make decisions about them and their lives that we may not like and that they may not like, but it's for the betterment of them and their safety and their future. When something doesn't feel right, even if it's just that voice in your head, it usually isn't right. And sometimes when we are attentive and we do everything right by our children, things can still happen and still go very wrong despite our best efforts. This can happen to good watchers of children. But we must always ask ourselves at the end of each and every day, was I right by each member of my household in terms of their safety? Did I do right by my children? Now, of course, Mr. Butts is presumed innocent unless and until he's found guilty on each and every crime and count that we have charged today. We have been told this morning that the arraignment will be tomorrow, we think at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, but we don't have confirmation of that yet. But the arraignment, we are told, will happen tomorrow morning. Thank you very much, Chief.
Good morning.
Lovejoy, I don't know which one was the sister. Like I said, I'm just getting with this trial because I found it later. Well, not trial, prelim. I can't even say it. What is wrong with me? But whatever, the pre-hearing, right? So I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna show day one today. I don't know if the sister's on it. If you hear, let me know. Ooh, did I just see Pam pop up in here? Oh, I see you, girl. I see you. So I don't know what it is, but I know there's some other people on the stand. But I'm just showing this one here when they had their oh, well, I'm just showing this part here so you get an idea of what this trial is all about. Pre-trial, whatever. All right, let's get it. Resume.
This is one of the most difficult cases that I have been a part of, and I'm just so very thankful to the detectives and the investigators in homicide. The tragedies that happened to this little girl touches each and every one of us, and unfortunately, she lost her life at the hands of someone who should have been concerned about her safety. I just want to take a couple moments and thank my prosecutor and her team for the amazing work, the commitment, the hours that they put into this work. I want to thank our major crimes, missing persons, homicide, specifically Sergeant Jones, and Lieutenant Amber Roberson. When I tell you the days and hours and the tenacity that they put into this work, it's not often that I'm not surprised by our officers, but when I saw the work and the hours and the time that they put in there, I was absolutely in awe at my weekly briefings and the time that they put into this case. It is not an 8-hour-a-day job. It ends when they have to get a couple hours of sleep. And I will tell you, with all the other things going on, this case was always top of mind.
Thank you.
Certainly want to thank DPS for their assistance in transferring over some of the information that we were able to get from them with this case.
Jack, are you speaking?
Yeah, I was just thanking Crystal Clean for the donation.
Oh, okay. And I'm about to say too, thank you, Crystal. Thank you. It takes a news press conference to tell women to wake up and smell. This woman really was going in. I like her. I really like her. She was cold as it is, Crystal. She was cold as it's another situation. I'm so tired of these women, putting these wood sticks before their children. What is wrong with them? And these wood sticks ain't providing nothing. They not protecting. They ain't doing nothing. Just sitting in your house, eating up your kids' cereal. on the kid's PlayStation, calling you up. Yo, babe, you gonna bring home something to drink, some liquor, some food? What you gonna bring, babe? Really? Really? All right, let me calm down. Resume.
He want her to bring home some Camel Joes.
Ooh.
Case, there were a number of people, our community in particular, even our Board of Police Commissioner Tamara Liberty Smith, who was out knocking on doors and passing out flyers, all with a desire to bring this little girl home to her family. Quickly, as the investigation unfolded, the officers realized that was going to be very difficult. Without going into great detail, I will tell you, as the prosecutors indicated, hours and hours and many gigabytes of information and phone records and knocking on doors and pulling video went into this investigation. And sadly, we find ourselves where we are now. But if there's any solace in any of this, is that we take a lesson from this. We make strong and good decisions for our children, keep them out of harm's way. We are not pointing out anything that someone did wrong. We just want to make sure people do a lot more things right. And again, Madam Prosecutor, thank you and your team for the work.
The Chief and I will take a few questions, if you have any.
I have one. How did Jarvis Butts have access to Mosiah?
He knew some of their family members, some of her family members.
Can you talk about the time frame when you mentioned grooming? Are you able to elaborate at all over how long of a period of time he may have quote unquote groomed or knew her? Or
All I can and will say at this point that it started in 2022.
So just for accuracy, small girls' remains have never been found?
No.
Is there a thought?
Her body has never been found.
Any thought of where she may be?
Well, if we knew that, we would certainly have a case that we weren't trying. We were trying without a body.
And the guess is, can you say what triggered charges now?
Again, there's an incredible amount of material. And one of the reasons why lately I've been giving out amounts of material that we've been going through, because I think people sometimes just do not get it or understand about all the work that it takes by the investigators and by the prosecutors to put a case like this together. Whenever you have a case like this, where there has been no body found, it makes it more difficult and much more investigation must be done because we have to be able to prove that the person is deceased.
are you able to say how long this suspect was on your radar or when you really started locking in on him?
No, by law, I can't really comment on that because that would leave me in a place where I can't talk about it right now.
But things have maybe moved forward a little faster if the school police had got with Detroit police right away.
Yes.
Can you talk a little more about?
No, I better not. I have strong opinions there.
You added to that the evidence, however, suggests that Mosiah Harris is dead, correct?
We are going to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that she's dead, as we must do by law.
You can say, but why?
Because no one's seen her, no friends, no family, no teachers, no medical conditions. Even on her birthday, 10 days ago, she contacted no one. This was a child that never missed school, but the school hasn't seen or heard from at all again. This is a young girl who was very active on social media and crickets, nothing, since January the 9th of 2024.
Anything from the defendant?
And we have other things too that will come out in court.
Any cooperation at all or utterances, statements from your defendant?
I can't get into that.
Without being able to speak in detail, I'm sure, do you have any evidence to indicate manner and location of death or where this might have occurred?
No, because we can't do that unless we have a body.
Mr. Butts is currently facing charges in prosecuted by Roberts. Can you talk additional charges before these? Can you talk about those at all?
He is, and we next appear in court on Monday, January 30th.
Have there been any other arrests made in this case?
I don't think so.
We just saw an unfounded rumor that there were family members arrested. Didn't know if you could flesh that or confirm that.
It's an unfounded rumor. It's not true.
Thank you.
Do you have an idea of how long Mosiah may have been being molested?
Again, the sexual abuse began based on the evidence that we have in 2022. Or at least the grooming began in 2022.
Are you able to say how far along she was on her pregnancy?
We don't know because we don't have a body.
I have a question for Chief White just about missing children case broadly.
This is so sad. And Lovejoy, you said she had a yellow top on. It might be day one, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I know, right, Crystal? Mm-hmm. They impregnated this girl. Then the nerve of him trying to get rid of it.
When these types of cases happen, obviously we get the reports all the time. Can you talk about what you think didn't work in this case? You know, in terms of like maybe the seriousness that was considered when she first went missing according to PTSD, CD versus those facts, you guys?
I would much rather have had the case earlier. I don't know if the outcome would have been any different based on some of the things we've learned in the course of the investigation, but we may have had an opportunity to recover even more evidence. But we're pretty confident that the evidence that we have is strong. We know it is, in fact. But you can never have enough evidence. So if there's anything that could have gone a little bit better with regards to the first time that we were brought in, I would have wanted to be brought in much earlier for that reason.
Just a background on Jarvis Butts. What's his age and is he from Detroit?
He's 41 years old, from Highland Park, I believe.
Yep.
And Chief, as soon as you guys got word of this, you guys were out immediately, right? You were even out searching, I guess, on command post.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, we took over the case after we were briefed. We took charge of the case, and our teams got engaged in it immediately and hit the ground running and didn't look back.
Can you talk about, Chief White, or maybe Detective Jones, the Maziah's case in connection to the other missing young people, those children, like what your workload looks like, how you balance those cases, and the numbers of youth that are missing right now?
Yeah, well, we make that public. We put it on our social media pages. There's a number of misinformation, misconceptions about missings. Oftentimes what we have is kids that run away for a day or two. They have a way of investigating these cases. They know the ones that routine runaways, if you will. They still look, they still go out, but there's ways to do it, going through the schools, social media with kids. It's a big benefit to us for our investigations. And they also know when they become serious missings. All missings are serious, but internally there's a title that it has been elevated to a serious missing, and that involves a lot more work and connection with the family. Each time we get a call, we go out to the home, regardless of whether or not it's a person who has run away or a routine runaway or serious missing. We check the home. We have found kids in the home hiding. So it's really complex, and we'll take its own news conference to explain it. I will tell you this, they do a very good job. We've got thousands of kids this year that have been returned home, many of which were runaways. So we don't have a condition where kids are being picked up on the street and kidnapped. We did have an incident a couple of years ago where that happened, and the prosecutor charged that person. In fact, we were just recently convicted. So it's a lot that goes into it. We're more than happy to sit down and explain our process with you if you want to do something on the side.
Chief, assuming that, inferring that investigators knew early on this was not a runaway case, or just if you could share some details of the fact that I'm assuming you knew pretty quickly this was not what she did as far as running, and there was foul play involved. And if you can address the complexities that the prosecutor alluded to of not having a body and how you build a case around that.
Well, the prosecutor builds cases. We bring evidence to the prosecutor. We bring our investigation, and she makes the charging decision. So I don't want to get into that lane because it's not mine. I'll tell you, as I said earlier, the prosecutor's alluded to a lot, and there's a lot in the press release as to what goes into it. These folks looking at hours and hours of video evidence. And as the prosecutor indicated earlier, I don't think people recognize in this new age of modern technology what that has done to investigative process. The days of old school investigations, some of that stuff still is valid and important. You got to get out on the street, knock on doors, and talk to people. But what the digital world has brought us is new opportunities to find additional information and a cadence in which people communicate, right? Every one of us have these things in our pocket called cell phones that we use for everything. And if people go dark, and they've never been dark, and particularly kids, they show their food, they show their school, they take selfies, and when that stops, that elevates your concern as to why did it stop. So it's a very complex process. These are the experts. I'm just a chief. But again, we can sit down and talk to you about it in great detail, but a lot goes into it. And when you're talking about 111 gigabytes of information and text messages and dumping phones and literally going through methodically each one of the pages and the text messages and the communication as to when they stopped and the last word said that should have prompted a response. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I can't get into that. All those things elevate your curiosity and brings you into other areas. So it takes a lot more time, but when you get it all right and you pull all the things together, you become as confident as we are now with this case. And we're very, very, very happy that this predator, this child predator, will not be able to hurt any more children and frankly, any more women, because we know that the women were a pathway to the children. That's that period. I'm gonna stop there before I get in trouble with the prosecutor. All right.
506 gigabytes just from the cell phones.
Are there any other people that are close to her family that may be charged?
This investigation's over, and we have charged the one single person that's responsible for not only her death, the evidence show, but also for the sexual assaults that we have charged today.
And what are his priors? Do we have those?
Oh, definitely can't go there. I'll lose my law license.
Chief, some of Maziah's relatives said they previously had talked to CPS about allegations of sexual abuse from Maziah and other kids. Did that ever make it to your office? Is it something that police have investigated before?
Yeah, let me just say this, that if anyone that is watching this press conference right now or reads any of the coverage that I'm sure that you will give this, has any reason to believe that they were a victim of his or that they know something else, we certainly welcome them to contact the Detroit Police Department.
So you can't say.
I've watched a lot of press conferences, and for her to say that statement, she know that this guy is definitely a sleazeball, and there's several victims. Well, once again, a woman putting the wood stick before the children. Ain't this something? All right, we about to finish. I think it's about another minute with this. We're gonna finish this off. Then we're gonna hit into the preliminary trial. Hope I'm saying it right. If I'm saying wrong, just excuse me. And happy Friday to everybody who's coming in here. Make sure you hit the like button. Let's get it.
If there were any previous reports on that.
You know what? That's the end of it. All right. Let's get into what we hear for the recap. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be silent for just a second. Let me set it up. Okay. I'm gonna set it up, and we're gonna get into day one. Hold it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is day one of the preliminary hearing. And I believe this was Monday. It was the 6th, January the 6th. All right, and I'm basically watching with y'all. So let's get it. Make sure you hit the like button, share me out if you can, and leave some feedback. And if you need to reach out to me for any coaching on dating, love, relationship, stuff like that, please feel free. You find the email in the description and we can go from there. All right, let's get it. And the speed is on one. Look at the clown. Look at this piece of crap.
The amazing Forever Smile is coming to Garden City.
Okay. All right. There goes the clown. Let's get it.
You can have it now.
They're going to tear you up in that jailhouse. Do you know that? Do you know what they're going to do to you in prison? Look at him. He looks nervous. You know you. Why are you coming here with a mask? You can't hide yourself. We know you're a creep.
Officer Wolf is an employee at 36th District Court. I do not have a personal relationship with him, only a working relationship in which he comes to the courtroom in 234 to do his job as a court officer. I want to make sure the people in defense there's no objection to me hearing this testimony.
No objection.
Okay, I'll swear you in. You swear.
Yeah, those text messages. I didn't see it, Lovejoy, but I'll probably do that Sunday. I want to focus on that one. So I'm trying to catch up tomorrow. I'm going to catch up on more of this one. But Sunday we'll do the text messages. Yeah, I heard they was very... All right, let me stop talking. I know I keep saying it, right? I keep saying it. Just hanging there with y'all. Hanging there with me. Reasonable.
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you state your name for the record, sir?
Derek Wolf.
And what do you do for a living currently?
I work at 36th District Court as court officer.
And how long have you worked at 36th District Court?
2 months.
And prior to that, where did you work at?
Detroit Public School Police Department.
And how long did you in total work for the Detroit Public Schools?
17 and a half years.
We're doing recaps, and I kind of messed up a little bit. I'm going to fast forward this dude here because he's basically just saying that she was at the school and everything. We want to get into the next. You know what? Let's leave it. Flip it. I'll just leave it.
You worked for DPS for 17 and a half years?
Yes.
And how long have you been in law enforcement in total?
39 years.
Yeah,
I retired from Detroit Police Department.
and what were some of your common roles and responsibilities at the Detroit Public Schools Police Department?
We go to school. Sometimes we talk to kids. We take care of the building, take care of the principals, take care of the family, and make sure everybody's abide by law.
And in January of 2024, what was your assignment at the DPS Police Department?
I was assigned to investigations.
And as part of that assignment, does that include going out and taking reports from people who are making police reports to the school police department?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to January 10th, 2024. Did you go to J.E. Clark School in Detroit?
Yes.
And what was the reason you went there, sir?
I got sent there by my lieutenant about a missing 13-year-old young lady from the school.
And when you went there, did you speak with someone who was making that report?
Yes.
Who was that person?
I talked to her guardian, her grandmother, which is her guardian.
Is that Annette Harris?
Yes.
And in terms of taking that report, what's that process like? What anybody said to you, but what information are you looking for to gather to put into your report?
Okay, I'm making a missing report. So I asked Ms. Harris, when the last year her daughter, her granddaughter, description of what she had on. Has she ever been missing before? Does she have a boyfriend? Does she have friends she might go by the house and stay? Things of that sort.
And did you ask Ms. Harris all of those questions and get her answers?
Yes.
And then did you write an actual report?
Yes.
After you write that report, do you have any role in actually investigating to attempting to locate the missing person?
Yes.
Okay, what did you do after writing the report?
After the report, I canvassed the area looking for this young lady, although she was gone for at least 24 hours because she was missing the day before. And then from that point, didn't find anything. So I followed the bus number that she was on. I got the video, and it showed what she got off the bus at Cornwell and 3 Mile.
Said Cornwell and 3 Mile?
Cornwell 3 Mile. And from that point, like I said, we went to the house, talked to the guardian again, talked to some of the people in the house, and then we went on in and they both there.
Sorry, just to be clear, you keep on saying we. Are you doing these things with a partner?
Yes.
And who is that partner?
Bill Garner.
Okay. Judge, may I approach?
Yes.
Approaching with what's already been admitted as King's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
And what is that is contained in Exhibit 2?
The school bus.
And is that a still shot from the video that you pulled or that you received?
Yes.
Oh. And that's the bus that you identified that Neziah Harris was on?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, one moment.
Yes.
Your talent, your style, your book.
I know that.
Yeah, me. Mr. Wolf, you were dispatched to the J. Clark School because you're an investigator for DPS.
I was not dispatched. The lieutenant came to the office and told us to go by the school for the missing.
Oh, so you were requested, your presence was requested at the school?
Yeah, from my lieutenant.
You don't have an office within the school?
No.
So you're not like the school resource officer, per se?
No.
Okay. And you said you met with Ms. Annette Harris on the 10th?
Yes.
And that's in January 2020?
January.
But that was early in the morning?
Around between 11 and 12.
So school was in session at that time?
Yes.
Did you speak with the teacher who was in Neziah's classroom on the 9th of January?
No.
Did you speak with any of Neziah's known friends?
In the investigation, yes.
You did. Who did you speak to?
I can't recall that.
Did you write them in a report?
No, not a missing report.
Okay, so you.
I'm so sorry. I had a 1.5. I went down to 1.25, but I believe everybody was able to catch it. So down to 1.25. After listening to all of this, I believe this young girl was living in a toxic. Yep, I was just telling that to Jack. Her grandmother adopted her so she can basically was abandoned by her biological. Yes, I knew there was more to it. Oh gosh, I'm getting upset. Calm down, Donna. Yes, Jack, what do you have to say?
I want to play just a little PSA for those guys out there who like preying on little girls and stuff.
Okay, let's get it.
More important than food, booty, a man's butt. It was more, I'm sure, it was more booty, having some booty was more important than drinking.
See, that's what you men gonna deal with when you mess with kids and abuse women.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. And Lovejoy, I think you're right. Oh, are y'all really gonna fight in here? Oh, this is my angels, my furry babies. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. She wasn't getting love nowhere else. I gotta listen to those text messages, Lovejoy. Gotta listen to those. Let's resume. Thank you, Jack.
Spoke with folks, but you didn't record their names?
I recorded it probably on my run sheet, but not inside the missing report.
And you didn't take statements from anybody?
No, not a time.
Ever?
No.
Okay. Did you speak with anybody else at the school about Messiah, either on the 10th or anytime after that?
On the other chance, I talked to the guardian, which is the grandmother, and a couple of students.
A couple.
Yes,
Okay. Do you know how many?
a couple, two.
Two. Okay. Just want to make sure we're the same definition of a couple. And you said you canvassed the area?
Yes.
What area did you canvass?
The 3 mile area, we all around there, checking the alleys, knocking on doors, see if we can get some video, doorbell, camera footage, things like that.
3 mile, was that 3 Mile Drive?
3 Mile in Cornwall, that area.
Okay, and that's where the bus stop was?
Yes,
Where Messiah would have gotten off the bus?
yes.
Anywhere else around the school?
We checked around the schools. We checked on, matter of fact, on her street as well. But we didn't find anything.
In her classroom, does she have a locker or a cubby or anything where she stores items?
I can have that question.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Fair to say then that you didn't check.
I may have, but I can't call right now.
Is
It's
there
been such a long time.
Is there a report that documents whether you did or not?
No.
Okay. And after you did the canvas of the area of 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall, what else did you do?
I went back to the station, advised the lieutenant of what we came up with,
Which is what?
which was I talked to the parent, the grandparent, talked to a couple of students. We didn't find anything from doing our search of the area.
So did you do anything else in regards to investigating?
No, I did not, because I was getting ready to retire, so I was done.
Okay. I don't have anything further. Any redirect?
Very briefly, Judge. How long, you were first notified about this on the 10th, correct?
Yes,
And how long did you stay involved in the investigation?
that day.
Okay, so your activities that Ms. Quick asked you about contained all happened on the 10th of January.
Yes.
What happened to the investigation after the 10th?
If someone else's investigation would have took over, besides me, because once again I was leaving, but I gave all the information that I had along with my run sheet as well. So
It was
for
passed
that
off to another investigator?
yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Okay, and then are you aware of what happened after that?
No.
Okay. And you said that on the 10th, your lieutenant came in and asked you to go to J.E. Clark?
Yes.
And who is your lieutenant?
At the time it was George Harris.
Okay. I know you heard that.
I just clarification, you said you were leaving. Are you mean leaving DPS or leaving
Yeah,
for the day?
retiring.
Okay, thank you. Any questions based off of my question?
No, Judge.
Okay, you were all done.
Very young, pretty judge.
And Judge, at this time, people would call forensic tech Margaret Lavala.
Asia, a canvas of ancient traditions and modern marvels. With overseas adventure travel, you'll do more than see it, you'll live it.
I had the travel bug from about 5.
Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, ma'am. Watch
I,
your step.
I ain't trying to be funny. This is like a hood courtroom. Where's the wooden stands?
Whenever you're ready, Mr.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Margaret Lavala.
And where are you employed?
Currently, I'm employed with the Macomb County Medical Examiner's Office
And when did you start there?
in July of 2024.
And before starting there, where did you work?
I worked with the Detroit Police Department as a forensic technician.
Okay. And how long have you had that job?
I was there for about 6 years.
And what, as a forensic technician, what are your roles and responsibilities?
We would respond to scenes in the city of Detroit. We would take photos, collect evidence, search for evidence, and then compile a report based on our findings.
And I want to take you back to March 14th of 2024. Were you working with Detroit Police as a forensic tech at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you working alone or with a partner?
That day I was working alone.
And I want to take you to the area of 7 Mile and Berg, in the city of Detroit.
Yes, ma'am.
And were you dispatched to that location on March 14th, 2024?
Yes, it was.
And what is it that you did at that location?
At that location, there was a wooded area just south of 7 Mile to the west of Berg, and we searched that wooded area for evidence related to a potential missing person.
Okay. And what is it that you did when you searched?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What is it that you do when you search an area?
We will canvass the area in an ordered fashion, myself along with the other officers that are on scene. We are looking for things that are out of the ordinary or might suggest that something had taken place at that location.
And did you know what you were looking for at that location?
We were looking for clothing and shoes.
And did you take any photos?
I did.
And did you collect any evidence?
I did.
Okay. And I want to show you, and may I show people to post exhibit 14?
Yes.
Showing you the market people's proposed exhibit 14, it's a PowerPoint. Could you tell me, do you recall going to this area?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do these photos, there are 129 of them, do they fairly and accurately depict the scene of 7 Mile and Berg as you saw it that day, back on March 14th, 2024?
Yes, we did. That's my recollection.
And Your Honor, I move for the admission of people's proposed exhibit 14.
No objection. Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you. Did you end up finding any evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
What evidence did you find?
We collected a pink jumpsuit, like bodysuit style, and then a black hoodie that had a pair of white headphones in one of the pockets, some gloves, a towel, and a pair of red, black, and white gym shoes.
Okay. And Your Honor, may I publish?
Yes.
Since you have to allow me.
Okay, try that.
I'm pausing because I want to share a thought. Ladies, you know, us women, we have to do better. If you see your sister, your cousin, your girlfriend, your friend, or whatever is out here, you know, putting the wood stick before the kids, cut that heifer off. Just tell her, I can't hang with you. I don't like how you move. Cut her off. Make her think. Don't keep that as a friend. Don't have no pity for her. Because she doesn't have any pity. She doesn't have any respect for her children. She doesn't care. So why should you be friends with her? Cut them off. I'm just saying.
And what, so this is in people's exhibit 14. This is going to be photo 2. What is it that we have here?
So this is the photo card that we would take at the beginning of processing any crime scene. It includes the date, the time, the location that we are responding to, as well as who is the current officer in charge that ordered us out to that location, the crime or suspected crime that we're investigating, as well as my name, the code that I'm working, and the report number that is assigned to that case.
Okay. Now I'm going to not go through all 129 photos here. I'm going to show you some that I want to reference. This is for record purposes, photo 30. What do we see here in photo 30?
We are looking west down. So that fence on the left of the photograph is the fence for an abandoned building at the south end of a parking lot on the west side of Berg. We are looking west towards the Rude River into that wooded area. You can see what is that pink jumpsuit in the background of the photograph.
Okay. And in 33, what do we see here?
That is one of the black, red, and white gym shoes that we collected from the wooded area that I had previously stated.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that's a left foot shoe?
Yes.
Okay. And in picture 35, what do we have here?
That was a photograph of the inside of the shoe, of its size tag.
And in 37, what do we see here?
Again, we are still looking in that wooded area. That is the black jacket that was collected. It is towards the front of the photograph, kind of behind that tree branch.
And in 42,
that was a close-up of the black hooded jacket that we recovered.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that you opened up the jacket, or is this how you saw
We did open up the jacket to examine it, yes.
And in 45, what's in 45?
So that is looking in one of the pockets of the jacket.
And can you see what's inside the pocket at that point or no?
That photograph, I believe there's a paper and might be the pair of headphones.
Okay. And in 47, what are
Yes.
we looking at there?
So yes, that is the paper and the pair of headphones that was recovered from that pocket.
And 50?
So that's going to be the hood of that hooded jacket. We noted that there are several holes in the jacket of unknown origin.
And 52, what do we see here?
Again, we are looking into the wooded area. You can see that pink jumpsuit that is stuck in the branches of those trees.
And in 63?
Straighten your teeth for only $4,998.
In 78, what do we see here?
That is the right foot of the red, black, and white shoe that was recovered that was located in the trees near that jumpsuit.
Okay, and is that fair to say the right foot?
Yes.
And 79, what do we have here?
That is a photo of the inside tag of that shoe to show its size.
And in 88?
That is the pink jumpsuit that we recovered.
And 89?
That's a photo of the size and the label of that jacket. That jacket jumpsuit.
And in 120?
That is a photo of the Rouge River.
So how close was the Rouge River, I guess, to the area that you were searching?
So there was a large parking lot just off of the west side of Berg, and then there was an embankment leading down to the river. I would say less than 500 feet.
What condition was the evidence that we just saw in the photos? What was the condition of it?
It was wet. It was dirty. It was currently raining when we were out at that scene. So
What did you do with the evidence once you photographed it?
once it was photographed, we collected it. I collected it and took it from the scene. The items that were wet, we then brought to the Detroit Police Department evidence garage, where we have a drying chamber, so that that evidence could be dried in a safe, secure, and way, so that any type of DNA evidence could be preserved. And then once that evidence was then dried, it was packaged and processed and submitted to the DPD property unit.
And you would have been the one who placed those items in the drying chamber?
Yes.
And are you also the one who placed them on evidence afterwards?
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I believe you said that it was raining on the day that you were dispatched out to this location at the site.
That is correct.
Had it been raining most of the morning?
To the best of my recollection.
When you were dispatched out by somebody at DPD?
That is correct.
When you arrived at the site, were there already people on scene?
Yes, ma'am.
How many people would you say?
Approximately 10.
And were they all Detroit police officers, or were there other people there as well?
Everyone that I spoke with was with the Detroit Police Department.
Okay. Could you say for certain that everybody there was DPD?
No.
You were notified prior to leaving, or when you got there maybe, what evidence or what items you were actually looking for?
They told us we were looking for clothing.
Okay. Were you under the impression that somebody had seen something and wanted you to come out and photograph it and tag it?
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't the first person out there to see it?
That is correct.
Do you know who originally had seen the items?
I do not.
So you didn't speak with anybody about where they initially located them?
I spoke with the officers that were at that scene, that called me out to that scene, and they directed me to where that evidence had been located.
Okay. But you can't say for sure where the items were located before you had gotten there, fair to say?
Correct.
Did you see anybody else handle those items?
No.
But again, you couldn't say for sure that nobody did?
I can't say what happened before my arrival on the scene.
One of the items was a black hoodie, right?
That is correct.
Fair to say that it appeared pretty weathered?
Yes.
I think the report notes that there's spider webs on it.
Yes.
Some detritus sleeves, that kind of thing.
Yes.
There was also a pink bodysuit.
That is correct.
Now that was not on the ground, correct?
No.
That was in some branches a distance away.
That is correct.
About how far away were those two items from one another?
Not that far, but I couldn't give an estimate right now of distance.
Okay, yeah, I don't want you to guess. Fair to say that the jumpsuit didn't necessarily appear similarly weathered to the hoodie?
No, it did not.
It did have some like dirt or stains on it.
It did, yes.
But it wasn't quite as weathered, I guess, same word I could use.
I would say so, yes.
So you collected the items. When you did so, did you wear disposable gloves?
I did.
Did you wear a new pair of gloves for each item that you collected?
I did.
Okay. And each item went into a separate bag?
That is correct.
It's got its own tag?
Yes.
And then you yourself drove them to this evidence garage?
Yes.
Now, this evidence garage, where is it at?
It's located at 11631 Mount Elliott in the city of Detroit.
And you yourself checked them in at the garage?
Yes.
What is the process for that?
So it is placed in our evidence tracker system, and there is a label in there to say that it is at the garage for drying. So it was noted that that was where it was going to be. The drying chamber is in a locked room, and then the chamber itself is also locked. So the key was acquired from my sergeant, my supervisor, to get into that room. The items were then hung up in a way that they were not touching each other. They did not come into contact with each other during the drying process. Then this chamber was locked back up. The door to the room was locked, and the key was returned to my supervisor. Then after 24 hours, then I returned to then collect that evidence, where it was all packaged individually in their own bag, and then that was then taped, secured, and turned over to property.
And you did all that yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you took each of the items out of their respective bags, again, did you wear disposable gloves?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you change those gloves every time you handled a different piece of evidence?
Yes, ma'am.
And then when you recollected them, you put them in fresh bags?
Yes.
And you, again, used disposable gloves?
Yes.
And did you use different ones every time you handled each item?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't have anything else, thank you.
Briefly. Mr. Bala, when you placed these items on evidence, are they each given like a specific evidence tag number?
Yes.
Okay, and could we just go through those really quickly? Do you have a report?
I do.
Okay, if you need to refresh your memory at all, please let me know. And if you want to refer to your report to refresh your memory, just let us know. Okay. So for the red, black, and white Nike gym shoes, those were placed in evidence?
Yes.
And do you recall what tag number they were?
Can I refresh?
If that would refresh your memory, yes.
So those were item 84.
Okay, and that black hoodie, that was also placed in evidence?
Sorry, I check again to refresh.
Yes.
So the black hoodie was item 85.
And what about that pink bodysuit?
That was going to be item 86.
Okay. And the headphones and paper, did you package those separately or together?
Can I refresh my report? Look at my report.
If that would refresh your memory.
So the headphones and paper were packaged together because they came from the same pocket under item 88.
88? Okay. And there were a couple other items that you also placed in evidence?
That is correct.
Okay. What were the other items?
There was a pair of gloves that was recovered from the wooded area as well, and a brown, blue, gray towel. It was a dirty towel, a dirty wet towel from near the parking lot.
Okay. And did you place that towel on evidence?
Yes.
What number did you place that on?
May I refresh?
Yes.
So the towel was 82.
Okay. And what about those gloves you were talking about?
The gloves were 83.
Okay. Was there any other items?
There was like a Ziploc bag that was recovered from the other jacket pocket that was placed under item 89.
Okay. And anything else?
Not to my recollection.
Okay. Was there any kind of rubber bracelet?
Oh, sorry. Yes, there was a rubber bracelet that was recovered from that wooded area as well.
Okay. And was that on evidence also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was that based on?
May I refresh?
If it would refresh your memory, yes, thank you.
That was item number 87.
Nothing further, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next witness.
At this time, people would call Talisha Moore.
Yep, Crystal. This was a year ago. Yep, this was a year ago. Mm-hmm.
Step this way, raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Not yourself.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
Talisha Moore.
And, excuse me, Ms. Moore, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, but first I want to ask you, do you know someone by the name?
This is not the one you talking about, Crystal, right? You said a yellow shirt. This is not her? Okay, we're going to watch this one. Let me know, Crystal. Lovejoy, let me know.
Name of Cordell Wright?
I do.
And how do you know Mr. Wright?
He is the father of my nephew, my 17-year-old nephew.
So, your sister's son?
Yes.
Got it. And is that how you met Mr. Wright?
Yeah.
Or your sister?
Yes.
Okay. And in what context is your relationship with Mr. Wright? How did you know him? Did he ever do anything for you? Things like that?
He fixed my mother's car. He worked on her car.
Okay. And what kind of car did your mother drive?
A red Jaguar.
And what's your mom's name?
Jacqueline Campbell.
And going back to January of 2024, where were you living at the time? Not your specific address, just the city.
Ypsilanti.
And who else lived with you in Ypsilanti?
My mom and my son.
Oh. And would Mr. Wright ever come out to Ypsilanti to fix your mom's car, her Jaguar?
Yes.
How often did he do that?
Like a couple times, at least 2 times.
And was that around January of 2024?
That was the last time.
In January was the
Yes.
last time. And when he would go out there, would he bring anyone with him?
This last time he did.
What about
For the
prior?
last 2 times. So before January 9th, him and someone else came, and then on January 9th, they both came.
Okay. And the person that he brought with him, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing he's wearing?
Well, I can only see the top of his head right now.
Are you 100% sure that it's that person? Could we have everyone remove their masks, Judge, just for a brief moment?
If everyone in the courtroom could remove their mask if they have one on, please.
Ms. Moore, do you see the person that Mr. Wright brought with him?
I do.
And could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing he's wearing?
A green one-piece thing.
For the record, the witness has identified Jarvis Butts, the defendant in this matter.
So reflected.
Thank you. And you said Mr. Butts came out how many times with Cordell?
At least 2. So this last time in January and the time before that.
Okay, and the time before that, who was anyone else with the two of them?
No.
And what were they doing the time before January 9th?
Working on the car. We I can't remember. It was a couple of things they had to fix on it, and they came out and did it in the driveway. And
sorry,
no. I was just gonna say the last time when we got the car towed to the shop and they drove it back up.
Okay, and so in between the most recent time before January 9th, the Jaguar, correct me if I'm wrong, was towed to Detroit?
Correct.
Okay, and then on January 9th, did you see that red Jaguar again?
Yeah.
Okay, who brought that Jaguar out to Ypsilanti?
Cordell and Jarvis.
Okay, and was anyone else with Cordell and Jarvis?
Yes.
Who is that person?
Naziah.
And I want to clarify, at the time on the 9th, when Cordell, Jarvis, and Naziah came, did you know that that was Naziah Harris?
No.
Do you know that now?
I do know now.
Okay. And is that based on information you've learned or seen in the news and things like that?
Well, it was based on when the detectives came to the house to question us. That's when I found out who she was.
But at the time on the 9th, you didn't know?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a no?
No, yes and no. I did not know.
Now, let's talk about when they came out on the 9th, January 2024. What was that interaction? How long did it last? Can you kind of take me through start to finish their visit and delivering the car?
So they came, they delivered the car. They were talking to my mom about what was wrong, gave her the invoice. It was just like a regular day. When they came in, they sat on the couch for a few minutes. Naziah was sitting in the chair by the TV. We spoke, very brief. Asked her if she wanted something to drink. She didn't. My 6-year-old son ran up to her, the dog. It was just very mellow. They sat there, we talked about the car and stuff. We talked about my nephew. Cordell was trying to wait till my nephew got out of school, but because he was on tether, they had to leave, so they didn't get to stay long enough for my nephew to come.
And your nephew would be Cordell's son?
Cordell's son, correct.
Did you talk to Mr. Butts about Naziah? Did he introduce her or anything like that?
We just asked, hey, everybody spoke. He said this is his niece, and that was pretty much the basis of it. I cannot remember if he said her name or not, but he did introduce her as his niece.
And so, just to be clear, not sure about the name, but he said this is his niece about Messiah. Is that a yes?
That's a yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. And then after that conversation, well, let me ask you, during that time when they were there, did you notice anything that was unsettling or concerning about Messiah?
No.
It was just a normal interaction?
Yes.
After that interaction was over, did the three of them, Cordell, Jarvis, and Messiah, leave your house?
Yes.
Okay. And as far as you know, they were headed back to Detroit, right?
Correct.
When they left, whose car were they leaving in?
Cordell's truck.
And all three of them were in the same car?
Yes.
And you said that they were delivering the Jaguar to your mom or to your house, right?
Yes.
Did you see them pull up? Do you know what the driving and seating arrangements was?
I do not.
I have nothing further to say.
Thanks, Russ.
I hated going to the dentist, but I had no problem going there. I wanted something that.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So you're technically not related to Cordell, right?
Correct.
That's
I have to
just
say, his
uncle.
defendant lawyer
I'm sorry. He
is a
is
good-looking
father.
man.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay.
good
How
job.
would you say your relationship?
Look at that beard.
Mr. Wright.
It's cool. Like, no issues.
You got along with him well? Okay.
Yes.
And you know Cordell worked as a mechanic?
Correct.
Okay. And how long has he worked on your vehicles? Was this something new, or had he worked on your vehicles previously?
I think he might have changed the oil on one of my cars a couple years back, but not that frequently.
Okay. And you knew he had did you know he had a shop that he worked out of?
Yes.
Okay. Had you been to the shop?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that there was a time prior to January 9th that he came up and worked on the car, correct?
Correct.
And you said that my client was with him that time.
Correct.
Do you recall when that was?
It had to be in the summer. I cannot recall the exact date.
But it was summer of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the first time you had seen Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
Did you say anything to him that day?
Yes,
The
we
first
talked.
time?
Yes, we talked about me being a member of Zeta and that he had a cousin or somebody that was a Zeta. We all went to O'Reilly's to get some parts or something for the car.
Okay.
Stopped and got something to eat, came back, but it was very
ZOB.
mellow, like.
So that summer of 2023, you had a fairly decent conversation with him, correct?
Correct.
And it lasted for a period of time, correct?
Correct.
So on January 9th, when you saw him, you knew who he was.
Correct.
You had recognized him because you had spent time with him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you had the car, and you knew that he was partnered with Cordell at the shop, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So on January 9th, approximately when did you have the car towed down to his shop?
I think we had it told maybe like the 4th or the 5th.
So it was there from the 4th, okay? And it was the 9th that they brought it back?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know approximately what time the car was brought back?
Had to be before 3:30 p.m.
It was
No. It had to be before 5:30 because my sister got off work at 5:30. So mid-afternoon.
Okay. But you're not sure the exact time?
I'm not sure the exact time.
Was it light or dark outside?
It was still light out.
Okay. And they came up, they pulled the Jaguar in first, the driveway.
Correct.
Right. And then Cordell's car was behind.
I believe so.
Okay. And when they pulled up, did you see them exit the vehicles?
No.
Okay. So you don't know who was driving?
I don't.
Okay. So at that point, they came into the house, correct?
Correct.
And did they all walk in together? Or
Yes.
Okay. So Cordell came in, followed by Jarvis, correct?
I can't tell you the exact. I don't know if Messiah walked in first or Jarvis walked in first.
Okay. And this young lady. And to be fair, you didn't know who she was.
Not
correct?
at all.
Do you recall what she was wearing when she came?
I think she had on a jacket. But I can't really.
Don't recall?
No.
Okay. Do you recall what any of them had on that day?
Not really.
Okay. So do you recall without going into your house, was it dark, light in your house? Were the lights on?
The lights were on.
Okay. And you have a fairly large living room?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they came in, you said that Nazir sat next to the television.
So yeah, like when you're coming in, there's like a red cabinet type thing. The TV sits on top of it, and then there's a chair like a chair sitting right next to it, and that's where she was sitting.
Okay. And when she came in, did she introduce herself?
She did not.
Okay. So she came in, sat down, right?
We offered her to see, like, came in, Cordell said hello. He was doing most of the talking. Jarvis said hello, said, "This is my niece." Then it was like, y'all have a seat.
Okay.
Cordell sat on the couch. There's a couch this way, and then a long couch this way.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, I believe that they were both on this couch. Nazia was in the chair, and me and my mom were on the longer couch.
So your mom was there?
Yeah.
Correct. All right. And you all were conversing, correct?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that you weren't conversing with Nazia, correct?
No.
You were conversing with Jarvis. I'm sorry, you were conversing with Cordell.
Cordell and Jarvis about the car and the invoice that they brought.
All right. And you said at some point your son came up and was talking with Nazia?
Correct.
Okay. And how long did this conversation last?
Like all of our conversations?
Right. How long were they there?
Probably.
It does not get any better than this.
Asia, a canvas of ancient tradition.
In like 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour.
And while they were there, you didn't notice anything, and I think you already mentioned this, you didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, correct?
Correct.
Did you see Jarvis Butts conversing with Nazia Harris?
No.
So they didn't have any conversation?
No.
Okay. And you didn't notice anything awkward or out of the ordinary between the two?
Correct. I didn't notice anything.
So after about an hour, they left.
Correct.
Was it light or dark?
It was still fairly light.
All right. And they got into Cordell's car, correct?
Correct.
You don't remember the scene, I think you've already
No,
said
I do
that.
not.
But was Cordell driving?
Correct.
Okay. So that day you didn't think anything out of the ordinary happened, correct?
Correct.
And at some point you were contacted, correct?
Correct.
When were you contacted?
Well, we were contacted by Cordell the next day because when we paid the invoice, it was $70 short. So we had to get Jarvis's Cash App to send the rest of the money. So that was the last part of the conversation. And then the detectives came, I want to say the end of March.
So the end of March. So
I believe. I don't know the exact day, but it was at least a month or two later.
And it was when the detectives came, is when you found out that the person that was in your house was Nazia Harris, correct?
Correct.
All right. And did they tell you that this person was Nazia Harris?
They asked me if I knew who she was, and they asked me if I knew who Cordell was. They showed me a picture of Mr. Butts. They asked me if I knew who all these people were, and they asked me if I knew her name, and I did not know her name at that time.
Okay. And they told you her name?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. And at any point, did you look up why they were there or look up any information about this case?
Yeah, after they left.
After they left?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what did you look up?
Objection, relevance.
I just want to see where her information came from.
As long as the results of what she looked up.
I want to see the information that she had, does that go into her testimony?
Go ahead.
There's obviously there's podcasts out that are a bit unfavorable.
It's not obvious.
Well,
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. What did you look up?
I looked up Mr. Butts' Otis record.
Okay.
But I tried to type in his name, I typed in Cordell's name, tried to see if anything came up. At that time, there wasn't anything posted, but I didn't find much, other than his record.
Okay. Just one more thing.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
Yeah, very brief. Ms. Moore, Mr. Reagans was just asking you about information that you looked up and things like that. When the police were at your house, though, the detectives were at your house, first, do you know if those were Detroit police officers?
Yes, Detroit police detectives.
Detectives, okay. And you said that they showed you a picture of, in court, you said Neziah, right?
Say it one more time.
They showed you a picture of Neziah at that time, correct?
Correct.
Did you identify that picture when the police were there as Neziah Harris? Did you say her name?
No, I said that's the mechanic's niece.
So just to be clear, you identified her as the girl that was at your house
Correct.
with the defendant, Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Oh. And that was before you had looked up any information?
Correct, because I didn't know anything until the detectives came to the house.
And while Neziah and Jarvis and Cordell were at your house, you said Neziah was sitting next to the TV?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And did Neziah, during that 30 minutes to an hour, ever get up and leave, use the restroom or anything like that?
No.
Meet New Jersey, the ideal meeting destination.
And you mentioned earlier that Cordell was on a tether and that's the reason he had to leave, right?
Correct.
Do you know what Cordell's tether hours were at that time? Like what time he had to be back home by?
I don't know.
How far of a drive is it from Detroit to Ypsilanti?
Probably about 40 minutes.
And what was the reason that Cordell had to leave again?
Because he said he had to be back in the house for his tether.
Okay, so did it seem like he was in a little bit of a rush to get back, or he was cutting it close maybe with that drive 40 minutes?
No, I think he had whatever he needed to do, and he just wanted to make sure he was in the city on time.
But is it fair to say that he would have left somewhat closer to his cutoff time? If that's the reason he left, or that he said?
Yeah,
I
think that calls for speculation on her part.
I was going to say, I'm sorry.
Do you want to respond?
If she knows, I think it's a close call.
If you know the answer.
I don't know. I can't say.
I have no further questions.
Okay, you are done testifying.
Thank you.
Watch yourself.
That's what you call use as flying monkey.
Yes, Judge. At this time, we would
Sometimes
call
you use
Tawana Butts.
Donna,
Yes,
You-
sir.
I hate to say this, but
Mhm.
this is an unusual court building. I mean, it's a makeshift one. It looks like a hood court building. It looks like they just done built. It looks like they don't have illegals just built the courthouse. I mean, I'm just keeping it real.
I was thinking the same thing when I first said something about
Funny,
this
but
court.
I'm used to courthouses with wood benches, a long hallway, etc. And look, I live in a small town, but we got big courthouses because they like to hang blacks over there. But that's another story by itself. But they make it fancy. It's like a makeshift room. It's like, I mean, seriously, it's like they done had illegals just go ahead and built the thing 2 days ago or something like that. I don't know. It just
It doesn't look like a courtroom.
it looks cheap. I mean, if
Nope.
we're spending money on prosecutors
Yep.
and stuff like that, at least have the courthouse look nice. Y'all know the courthouse with the wood and stuff, like the wood benches and the long wood benches and stuff like that. And you got the judge in a nice long robe, and you got the hall. It's like it's beautiful, but it's intimidating at the same time. You know, you go in that course like, you walking down there, you walking through them wood floors, it's like, oh God, the Lord's finna grill me. Oh, he's gonna get me. And now look at this makeshift looking like, it looks like one of what's that, Elon Musk's pod things, one of those box locks pod things. The mobile home looks like it looks like they in a mobile home or something. I don't know. It looks like a mobile home courthouse.
That's it. It looks like a mobile home, Like it was put on the side of the building to make extra room. And they said, "Oh, we just throw his ass over here." Excuse my language. Throw him over there.
Now, say what you need to say. I mean, it looks like a mobile home. I mean, it looks like it's one tornado away for getting blown away. I mean, seriously. I mean,
oh, that's just wrong.
It's crazy.
One tornado.
I mean, it is one tornado away from getting blown. Okay, I mean, but you got the. It's, if you're gonna, can they have any respect for the young victim? I mean, that's what I'm saying. At least have the court in a nice long wooded area, like with the wood benches and traditional style. At least give the girl some respect for justice. Y'all giving the justice through a trailer pod.
I was going to ask, does anyone need a 5-10 minute break? Are we all okay? Okay, 5 minutes. Use the restroom.
Yes.
Back at 2:15.
Oh, I know it's Detroit. Half my family live in Detroit. I know, but the Detroit courthouses I see, it ain't like that.
Your talent.
I guess you could say they balling on the budget.
Tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing.
Lovejoy, is this it? The yellow shirt? Okay, let's get it.
Right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Watch your step. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Wilson.
Hey, Judge.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Jarvis Butts,
And how old are you, Ms. Butts?
46.
And do you know someone named Jarvis Butts?
Yes,
And how is it that you know him?
he's my brother.
Okay. And how old is Jarvis Butts?
42.
And do you know his birthday?
Yes,
When's his birthday?
November 21st, 1982.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
I saw him walking in.
Okay. And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
He has on, I believe it's dark green shirt. He's sitting behind the lady to the side of you.
And your Honor, with the record reflected when it says identify the defendant in this case?
So reflective. And just to be clear, you said I saw him walking in. You saw him when you were walking in or when he was walking in?
When I was walking in just now.
Thank you.
And Ms. Butts, where did you know Jarvis to work?
He worked at a shop on Warren and F, called Frank's, and then he moved to a shop on Hopper and Connors. I don't know the name of it.
And Ms. Butts, do you remember talking to Detroit police back on February 26, 2024?
Yes,
And what's the reason that you went and talked to Detroit police?
I had reason to believe that I saw Naziah the day she went missing.
Tell me about that. What makes you believe that you saw Naziah on the day she went missing?
Where do you want me to start? It's a lot.
So from the very beginning, where is it that you think you saw Naziah?
At the shop on Harbor and Connors.
Okay, and whose shop is that?
My brother Jarvis Butts and his partner.
Okay. What's the reason you were at your brother's shop that day?
Something was wrong with the car that I was driving, and I just needed him to check it out to make sure it was safe for me to drive.
Do you recall about what time did you go to Jarvis's shop that day?
About 4 p.m., give or take a few minutes.
Okay, and around what time did you leave?
Somewhere between 6 and 6:30.
Okay. And what is it that you noticed while you were at the shop?
So it's a two car, like garage. So I was sitting outside of the shop in my car because they're working on another car on the inside. As I sat there for the time that I was there, I kept seeing a little girl get in and out of his truck, going into the gas station and going back to his car.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you right there. Whose car are we talking about?
My brother.
Okay, and what kind of car was it?
I believe the Cadillac Escalade.
Okay. Do you remember what color?
Kind of like a pearl white, off white cream color.
Okay, and you said you described this as a like a two garage shop.
Yes.
Okay, and I want to approach the people's exhibit 7.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Butts, do you recognize what is it we're looking at in people's exhibit 7?
Yes.
Okay, what is that?
That is the shop.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
And where at were you parked when you saw someone getting in and out of Jarvis' truck?
In front of the car doors, or the garage right here, I was parked facing, I don't know what direction it is, but going towards Grass. I was like in front, but outside.
Okay, so you were kind of parked parallel with the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you draw a T where your truck was?
My car?
Yeah, your car was.
Can I?
Yes. And then put an arrow the way you were facing. And where is it where that Jarvis's truck was? Just put a J where Jarvis's truck was. And what way was his truck facing?
It was facing my direction, so the front was
Towards you. Okay, so put an arrow for that direction. Okay. Now, do you get a
Yes,
look at this little girl that you see getting in and out of his car?
I saw her, as she was walking. I never saw her face.
Did you see any clothing?
I did.
Okay. Did anything about the clothing stick out to you that you remember?
I just remember her having on a colorful jacket.
And what door, which side do you remember seeing her getting in and out of Jarvis's truck? Or did it change?
I don't really remember.
Okay, that's okay. So you said you mostly remember a jacket, a colorful jacket.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what's marked as People's Exhibit 2, which is already admitted, and People's Proposed Exhibit 10. You under my approach?
Yes.
Thank you. Handing you what's marked as People's Exhibits 2 and 10. Okay. Do you recognize anything in those photos?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
What is it that you recognize?
Right here, this jacket.
And for the record, you're pointing up in channel 1, and you recognize this like pink colorful jacket?
Yes.
Okay. And that's in People's Exhibit 10. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 10 as Exhibit 10. Is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you saw that day?
Yes.
I move for the proposed People's Exhibit 10.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 10.
Okay. And in People's 2, is that also, where is the what you recognize People's Exhibit 2?
It looks like channel 2 here, maybe.
Okay, facing the back?
Yeah.
Okay. And you recognize the jacket in this photo too, right? Yes.
It's a little blurry, but it looks the same.
Okay. And what about in channel 1 of Exhibit 2?
It would be this one right here.
Okay, and it's fair to say that's the back of a jacket? It seems to be the back of a jacket? Okay, thank you. And you said that you saw this little girl with this jacket on getting in and out going into the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know who this little girl was at the time?
No.
Okay. Is there a time that you ever get out of your car?
Yes.
And what do you do?
I needed to use the restroom, so I asked his partner if I could use the restroom. He told me to go and tell him in the gas station. And as I was walking towards the gas station, she was walking in front of me going into the gas station.
Okay, so about how far in front of you was she?
I would say maybe where the gentleman in the gray blazer is behind you. Maybe a little bit farther. I'm not really sure about that distance.
From where you are to him?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know about estimates.
20, 25 feet?
Yeah, I would agree with about 20, 25 feet. And you said you never got a chance to see this little girl's face.
No.
Was there anything else about her that you can remember?
Will never procrastinate again once you understand this. Psychologists have recently discovered that the real reason why you procrastinate so much is not due to your lack of motivation.
Small, like outside of just seeing her get in and out of the car when I was walking towards her. Maybe a little bit farther. I'm not really sure about that distance.
From where you are to him?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know about estimates.
20, 25 feet?
Yeah, I would agree with about 20, 25 feet. And you said you never got a chance to see this little girl's face.
No.
Was there anything else about her that you can remember?
I just remember her being kind of small, like outside of just seeing her get in and out of the car when I was walking towards her. I was like, she's tiny, and I just remembered the coat.
Okay. Tiny, like in what way? Like tiny, skinny, short?
Kind of skinny and short.
Okay. And did you ever ask Jarvis who the little girl was?
Yes.
And what did he tell you?
He told me, and I can't remember if it was this exact word, or he said it's my partner's niece, or he said it was King's niece.
Okay, but you knew who he was referring to?
Yes.
Okay. Did you think anything of it at the time?
No.
Okay. And what is it that made you think something? Was there a time where you thought something different?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it that made you think something different?
I received a phone call, a video call from one of his kids' mom, and she told me about some things that happened on Valentine's Day, and then she sent me a video of a podcast about my brother.
Okay. And what did you do as a result of receiving those things?
I called Shannon and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And who's the Shannon that you called?
His kid's mom.
Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. Do you do anything before you go and talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. What is it that you do?
Okay, so after having a conversation with Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed that his partner King, I guess something happened where the
Objection, this is hearsay.
There's not a statement yet, Judge.
Being informed.
I'm not sure what she's even about to say.
Okay, to the extent that it's informed someone else's statement.
The amazing Forever Smile is coming to Garden City. This revolutionary procedure.
You need to speak up.
I'm so sorry. There's a lot of commercials. My bad. I apologize.
Stand up and make your objection.
Yes, just objecting to the fact that she was informed of something. It appears this might be hearsay.
Oh, yeah. Could you finish what you were saying? I don't know where you're going with this.
I'm trying to remember where I left. Okay, so after talking to Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed of some things that had taken place, I think Valentine's Day. So they told me that his partner King.
Okay, so at this point, this is hearsay. They told me in the lack of personal knowledge the things that she was informed of.
Can I finish?
1 second. What is an objection?
I'm sorry.
The witness has to stop talking.
So based on those, do you go and talk to someone else?
Yes.
Okay. Who do you go and talk to?
His partner King
Okay. And where is it that you go and talk to King at?
at the shop on Harbor Encounters.
Okay. And without telling me what King said, kind of describe what was your conversation about?
Well, I went to see what happened, and what was going on. During that time, I told him that I had never seen any little girl at my brother's shop besides my nieces, outside of the little girl that I saw getting out of his truck that day.
Okay.
And you told this to who?
King.
And who was King again?
His business partner.
Okay, and do you know his government name?
I believe it's Cordero or something like that. I just always call him King.
Okay. So you went and told him that you hadn't seen anyone out at the shop besides your nieces and then the one little girl you saw that one day.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask him about that little girl?
Well, I didn't ask him about it. After I said that to him, he told me.
Objection, Your Honor, this is going to be hearsay again.
Judge, it's going to go to the effect on the listening.
There could be an exception. I don't know what she's saying. So you might as well just stay standing up. Okay. Go ahead, say what you want to say.
After I mentioned to him that I had only saw my nieces and one particular little girl, he then told me that that was Naziah that I saw that day and I was there.
I would object then, given now that she has testified to that it is hearsay and that it is being introduced for the truth.
And Judge, I would say that it's actually a statement of identification.
So this is not an identification that she personally made. She's just being told.
When she saw Naziah that day, so it was.
She didn't know who it was. I mean, she had no idea who this was. That's
She
not
didn't know
her
who it was.
identification.
So it is hearsay.
Okay. So, without saying what King said, were you informed of anything about a little girl that you saw on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, Jarvis had told you that that was King's niece.
Yes.
Okay. And when you talked to King, did you have reason to not believe what Jarvis told you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know your nieces from Jarvis? Sorry. That is a poorly worded question. I am sorry. If that was your niece, would you have recognized her that day?
Yes.
Okay. And you did not recognize this little girl as your niece, did you?
No.
Okay. What is it that you did after speaking with King that day?
I called Shannon Harris and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone number.
Okay. And did you eventually talk to Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay.
So I found this tool that does a scan of the dark web, and guess what? A ton of
Sorry about that. What day was it that you went to the shop and saw the little girl?
Can I ask you a question? I didn't remember the exact day at that time.
Okay. What is it that makes you believe that it was Naziah Harris that you saw on that day?
I'm not quite sure how to answer what you're asking me. Like,
That may be a poorly worded question. I'm sorry. Can I just have 1 second, Judge?
Yes.
Ms. Butts, did you come to learn of the day that you had gone to Jarvis's shop by going through the locations on your phone?
yes.
Okay. And that's the day that you don't remember off the top of your head right now, but it is revealed in your phone locations?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see here. One second. Let me see if I find it.
She holding her tears. She's fighting them.
When is it that you went through your phone locations to determine the date? Oh, I'm sorry, do you need a moment?
I believe it's February, I think like 24th or the 26th. I can't remember the exact date.
Okay, that's when you would have went through your phone to find those?
Yes.
Okay, and did you also go through that in your interview with Sergeant Jones?
Yes.
Okay. And did you give Sergeant Jones permission to look at their location data?
Yes.
Okay. And your phone kind of extraction in general? Like to go through your phone for the data?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing else, Judge.
Thanks, Beth. Good afternoon. So you go to the shop where your brother works periodically, right?
From time to time, yes.
You've been there prior to the day we've been talking about today?
Yes.
A couple times at least?
Yes.
And you've been back there after?
Yes.
But the day we've been talking about, that's the only time you ever saw a child there?
That was the only time I saw a child I didn't recognize.
Okay, so you had seen other children there before?
Yes.
Okay, when you say that you recognize, these are who exactly?
My
usually?
nieces.
And when you first arrived at the shop that day, Jarvis told you that he wasn't going to be able to work on your car?
No.
No? Did you ask him if he'd be able to?
Judge, I think this calls for hearsay. They can't admit statements of the defendant.
I'm looking more so for her own statement, actually.
For her
Let's
what?
start with her own statement.
Okay.
Did you ask him right away if he would be able to work on your car
I talked to him prior to coming to the shop.
before you arrived? You asked if he could work on your car that day?
I asked him to look at my car that day.
Okay. Did you arrive at the shop with the understanding that he would or would not be able to?
I arrived at the shop knowing that he was going to look at my car.
Okay. One moment. And was that via text or call or some other way?
Probably a video call.
Okay, so a video call a little bit before you headed over?
Earlier in the day, maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what time.
Okay, so that's how you decided that you'd go over later.
He told me I could come.
Judge, this is kind of all calling for hearsay in a backdoor way.
The response is hearsay. Not
Yeah.
that you necessarily asked for it, but it's hearsay.
Sure, we can keep it as her own. So to be clear, we don't need to talk about what he said to you, but you did a video call to him. And in that call, you asked if he could work on your car.
You keep saying work on my car. I said look at my car.
Okay, look at your car, but you asked him personally.
Yes.
Okay, and that was maybe that morning?
I don't remember what time of day it was, but it was before I went to him.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and as you were saying, this day, I think you said you saw some other children there at other times, but this particular child, you only ever saw this child on this particular day.
Yes.
And the whole time you were there, from your testimony and from that police interview, you said that you never saw her face.
Yes.
And then you did also see some news stories about this case.
Yes.
Yeah, on the podcast that you talked about. Right, there were some podcasts.
I had already saw her on the news, but I did not know who she was.
Sure, but that was by seeing those stories, that's how you started to think.
Well, I was sent the podcast after some other things that was told to me. That's when I received the podcast.
So initially, between the day you were at the shop, right, and then until you started to see that news, at first you didn't make this connection that maybe she was anyone in particular.
Not at all.
Okay. And then through seeing that news, those podcasts, that's when you started to think she
No,
was.
that's not the reason why I thought that.
No, but that's the timing, or it's not?
I guess you could say that.
That's when you started to, at least when you saw those things, that's when you started to wonder.
I was wondering before I saw the podcast.
Okay. In your police interview that you did you tell them that at first when you saw the news, you didn't really make a connection because of not having seen your face?
Yes.
Okay. So that interview was on February 26th, 2024, right?
Yes.
And you were having some trouble remembering some of the specific details from January 9th at that point?
Not so much as remembering maybe the order I remembered it in.
Okay. Were there some times, at least though, when you were asked some questions and some details that you had to say, I can't remember some things?
I can't remember now.
Okay. And would you agree that it was
Like, it's been a minute.
Okay.
I
just say,
probably did. I guess it would be safe to say because I didn't know.
okay, so you think it's safe to say that at that point in time, there are at least some details you were having a hard time, some questions you couldn't answer?
I can't disagree.
And it was pretty close in time, shortly before that police interview. That was when you first started to think that maybe this girl you'd seen at the shop had been Messiah Harris.
Can you repeat that?
So the first time you started to think that maybe that child, the one you saw, maybe that was Messiah Harris, that was pretty close in time to the police interview.
Maybe about a week or so before.
Okay, I believe, does it sound right to you that I think you told the police that it was on the Thursday prior to the interview?
Whatever the Thursday was after Valentine's Day.
Okay, so probably February 22nd. That was the Thursday prior to your interview.
Okay.
And then when you were at the shop, you primarily saw this child while she was inside a truck, right?
I didn't know it was a child in the truck until she kept getting out.
Okay, but when you saw her, she was in a truck?
I saw her getting out the truck, yes.
And were you inside your vehicle?
Yes.
You arrived in the daylight, right?
Yes.
And that's, I think, what you're referring to, right? Initially, that's when you didn't yet know somebody was in the truck.
Can you say that again?
So at the beginning, when you first got there, right, you didn't know right away that somebody was in the truck.
No, I didn't.
I think you'd said before, because it was so light outside, it was a bit difficult to see into the truck.
I wasn't really paying attention to this truck. He was outside of it.
Sure. And then in your police interview, you referred to then seeing a light in the truck, and that's when you started to see somebody?
Yeah, that's when the door opened.
Okay, so there's a light turned on, and at the same time a door opened?
That's the reason the light was on.
Okay, because the truck door was open. Yes?
Sure.
And you said that you saw a couple different times her go back and forth to the gas station?
Yes.
And only at one of those different times, you were on your way to the gas station as well?
Yes.
But for that whole time, she remained in front of you?
When I was going into the gas station, she was in front of me. When I walked into the gas station, she went to the left, I went straight, and over to the right.
For that walk over to the gas station, was it getting dark at that point?
It was already dark.
Okay. And while she was in the truck, you were not sure exactly which part of the truck this was?
I knew that I wasn't in good health. Then one day I went to get my blood work done.
And while she was in the truck, you were not sure exactly which part of the truck this was?
I can't remember, no.
Okay. So you understood initially that when you arrived, you'd probably have to wait at the shop sometime?
Yes.
I think you referred to just one other car you worked on first. Is that all there was before you?
It was actually another vehicle out there, but I don't pay my brother to work on my car, so I had to wait until he was done making his money. So I waited.
Sure. So do you know how many cars he worked on before he got to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know if there were any other customers present in person?
I did see someone, I can't remember what kind of car it was in, but it was, I believe, a gentleman that needed to pull into the garage because Jarvis asked me to move my car out the way because I was blocking the garage. So, yes.
Was this someone you recognized at all?
No.
So in total, other than Jarvis, or who you refer to as King, was there anyone present that you recognized that day?
No. Just King and my brother.
So as you said, the sun set while you were there. Do you know about how long it was light out before it got dark?
Well, I got there about 4 o'clock. It didn't take long for it to get dark. I don't remember the exact time, but it got dark pretty fast.
Okay, and then other than when you went to the gas station, were you always at the shop?
What do you mean?
So did you go anywhere else?
No, I never left. All I did was move my car when he asked me to move my car. And once the driveway was clear, I back where I was. I didn't go anywhere else.
Okay. And when you were present, not going to the gas station, were you always inside your vehicle?
Yes,
Were your doors open or closed?
closed.
Okay, and were your windows up or down?
They were up unless I asked him something.
Okay, so sometimes if you needed to communicate, you just open the window.
Or I would call him, yeah. Yes.
And you were saying today that at one point you did speak to Jarvis about who this girl was.
Yes.
And when you were talking to the police about this, you had said that you weren't sure exactly what his response was.
What I said was I wasn't sure of the wording.
Sure, that's what I mean. That
Okay.
You told the police, right, that it might have been King's niece, or maybe he said it's my homeboy's niece.
He said it was his partner or King's niece, but he definitely said it was someone else's niece.
Okay, I mean, does it sound right to you that you used the term homeboy's niece with the police?
I probably did.
Okay.
It's all the same to me.
And then that's what you continued to think at first, right? At first, you just believed that it was someone else's niece.
Yeah,
Specifically, you thought it was probably King's niece,
that's what I was told.
which I think as we established, right, King is the same person as Cordell, right?
Yes.
And then after that, you would listen to some of these podcasts and to the news.
I listened to his kid's mother and then I watched the podcast.
Okay, so those are some things that happened.
Yes.
And then once you started to have this different information you were gathering, then you kind of started to look into it for yourself,
Yes.
do some of your own investigation.
Yes.
And then at one point following that, that's when you decided to go back to the shop
Yes.
to speak to Cordell
Yes.
and to discuss some of these things you've been learning with him.
Yes.
You and Jarvis are not particularly close.
I wouldn't say that we're really distant. I don't see him every day. I don't talk to him every day, but he's my brother.
He's your brother, but you don't have a very close relationship, or?
He's my brother.
What about with his children? Are you close with his children?
Some of the ones that I know.
So he has 13 kids, right?
I have no idea.
Do you have an idea of around how many kids he has?
A lot.
Okay. Do some of them live with different mothers?
Yes.
And you don't spend time with all of them?
No.
This man is sick. He got a lot of kids. Unfortunate that these kids, this sleazeball as a father, and everybody sees it in court. Sometimes your parents could be a big time embarrassment, man. It's so sad. All right, let's resume.
So which ones do you know?
I don't want to say their names. They're minors.
Okay.
And I don't want to disclose their identity.
Could you just give like a number instead? How many do you know?
I'm counting. About 8.
Stop chasing men. Even when he pulls back, loses interest, or
That you know, does that mean 8 that you have like personal contact with?
I have.
Okay. When is the last time that you've seen any of them?
About 2 months ago.
Were you and Jarvis raised by your grandmother?
For the most part.
And were there some events surrounding her death that related to your relationship with Jarvis that impacted some things?
No.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Can you redirect?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Butts, you said that there was another reason, there's a different reason that you thought that it was Nazai that you had saw that day. When you were starting to compile, or when you talked to Shannon Harris, and then you got the podcast. Before that, you said there was other reasons why you had thought that was Nazai.
So, am I?
Yes.
What is
that?
Okay,
Yes.
so at the time I didn't know. Once I realized that it was a possibility that I saw her, there were several reasons that led me to believe that it was a possibility I was there. And I didn't want to get into detail as far as what I knew before the podcast. But if you would like, I would explain to you why.
Sleazeball just sleazing away. You know what? I'm so tired of these women like this. This should have never happened. Should have never happened to this girl. She wasn't protected, just like with Ham Hock. You know, when Ham Hock and his girlfriend up there, you knew darn well that he was looking at that little girl, but she didn't do nothing. You said you saw a little girl was out there, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. You should have questioned him. What? Excuse me, why are you out here with this girl 3 o'clock in the morning? But she didn't care because she was protecting the wood stick. It was all about the wood stick. I hope she has bad luck for the rest of her life. Because she could have saved that little girl. But it was all about the ham hock. That's all she cared about. I hope every day, she can't get a job. I hope she can't even go to the local store to pick up milk without being harassed for the rest of her life because of her. On her watch, in her home, she didn't protect that little girl. All right, let's get back to this story. Another one that wasn't protected.
I thought these things.
Your Honor,
So to you.
can we approach? Yes. We'll be right back.
Look at the low life. Look at the sleazeball. Lift your head up. Why you got a mask on? You can't hide what you did. You can't. And what you've been doing to these young girls, sitting here preying on these lonely, desperate, gullible women with little girls. Ooh, I can't stand this creep, but that's all right. You're going to get some good treatment in the jailhouse. They're going to take good care of you. Just look at him. Lift your head up. We want to see your eyes. Why you got the mask on? Ain't nobody walking around masked like they used to. You have something to hide. Sociopath. Yep, you're a true sociopath. Oh, look at you. Your cellmate say you're going to give you some of that nook tonight? Mm-hmm. And you won't even let people know where her body is at and what happened.
Do you think you have what it takes to make like it never even happened happen?
Okay, let me fast forward some of this slow life to get to it. I'll just leave it. I guess it's a great start. Too much?
Okay, we are back on the record. Ms. Butts, you are still under oath.
Okay, it's back on.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. So, Ms. Butts, what's the sources of these reasons that you have? Are these things that you know from your personal knowledge? Are these things that you observe yourself?
I'm sorry.
Okay. So these reasons that you were thinking of, what are the sources of them? Is it somebody told you something? Is it something that you saw yourself, you observed, or a coupling of that?
I would say a bit of both. Things that I was told and things that I heard.
Okay. Were there heard from Jarvis?
No.
Okay. Were these things that you had already known prior?
Prior to
thinking that it was Messiah that you saw?
I'm sorry, I'm confused on the question.
So are these things, the sources that you have for these reasons, are they like things that you have personal knowledge of, or are they things that somebody told you about?
Excuse me? Who just creeped through the back door on this Friday night? Susie Q. And blessings. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. And all that good stuff. And blessings and blessings. Good to see you, girl. Good to see you. Did you hear about this one here? We got another sleazeball. Did you hear about this one? Let me know. Let's get back to it. Good to see you, girl.
These were things that I was told. I'm trying to understand the question that you're asking me.
Ms. Ripley, you're referring to the question before we went into a sidebar about her leading up to believing that it was possibly Messiah Harris at the shop, correct?
Yes.
Does that help clarify?
Okay.
The line of questioning?
Yes.
Okay, so those reasons, those things, are those things that you had known before? Are they based on your observations, or?
Well,
This one, Susie Q, is a piece of work.
And after asking the questions that I needed to ask, I came up with the conclusion that it was a possibility that Nazaria was the little girl that I saw that day.
Another ham hock, and the other guy, sleazeball, Quez.
You said that
say his name.
when you were
Quez.
up at Jarvis's shop, that it was getting
Kind of
dark
look
out.
like him too.
Yeah.
Okay. That darkness, is that maybe the reason why the color on the jacket stood out?
Well, the jacket didn't stand out until I was walking into the gas station behind her because I wasn't really like paying attention to what she had on. I just kept seeing her get in and out of the truck, going in the gas station and coming back to the truck. And that's what caught my attention.
Okay, so the movement is what attracted you to it at first.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Butts, you are done testifying. Watch your step coming out of the witness box. Okay, one last witness. for
She
tonight.
is the sister
It's time to go
of the
call,
sleazeball.
Patricia Johnson.
There goes sleazeball sitting back with the mask on, like he's scared of COVID. You got more things to be worried about than no COVID. That's about to start. Ooh, look at the officer too. Oh my! Look at all these good-looking bald men coming in. Lord have mercy. Focus. Gorgeous man.
Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Watch your step.
Thank you. Thank you, Lovejoy. Jonathan Quill. Sleazeball.
Thank you, Judge.
Mhm.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your name for the record?
Prosecutor Johnson.
And how old are you?
31.
I don't want to know your exact address, but what is this? What street do you live on?
I was driving down for
And what kind of vehicle did you drive back in January of 2024?
a blue Nissan Sentra.
Okay. And do you recall being interviewed by Detroit police back on August 30th of 2024?
Yes.
And third, that was in relation to a Jarvis Butts.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know a Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
Okay. And how is it that you know Jarvis Butts?
He's my daughter's father.
Okay. And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
He's right there and he's wearing green.
And your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant?
So reflected.
Thank you. And you said that he's your daughter's father.
We got to pause for a second. Lovejoy's saying something to me. Is this the girl in that picture? Ho said, oh Lord, the baby mama. Okay, you said the baby mama. What else Lovejoy said? Donna, we are going to be lit. Okay. All right, wait until you hear this. Now, the question I have for you, Lovejoy, I'm trying to catch up on this. Is she the present woman that he was with? That's the aunt. Oh gosh, I'm not saying it right. This is the aunt of the unalive girl, right? This is the aunt, and she was messing with him, and they got kids together. Am I correct or not? Let me know. I know I sound like I'm all over the place. All right, let me resume. Everybody who's coming in here, thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging, and thank you for hitting the like. Enjoy Late Night Friday live stream, and I'll be continuing this again Saturday and Sunday. Resume.
Father.
Yes.
How old is your daughter?
She just turned 2.
And when did you meet Jarvis Butts?
2019.
And how was it that you met him?
I had a flat tire and I went to his auto shop on Warren and Casual and F.
Now, you said you have one daughter with Mr. Butts. Do you have any other children?
Yes.
Okay. What other children do you have?
I have a son.
Okay. And how old is he?
He's 7.
And that is not a child by Mr. Butts.
Oh gosh. Okay, I got you,
Now,
Lovejoy.
do you recall? We'll take you back to February 15th, 2024. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened that day?
Police came to my home asking me if I know Jarvis and have I seen Naziah.
Okay.
Before.
All right. And did you? I guess. Did they do anything at your house when you were there?
They searched my house.
Did they ever search on that day? Did they search your vehicle?
No.
Okay.
They just looked in there. They didn't do it full. I don't know if that was what you call it, search of them looking inside.
Was there ever a time that you allowed Jarvis to use your vehicle?
Yes, one time.
Okay. And which two times? Okay.
Ms.
And
Johnson, can you speak up just a little bit louder?
2 times.
Thank you.
in which vehicle was that?
The blue Nissan Sentra.
Okay. And I showed you a PowerPoint before of 197 photos of a Nissan Sentra. Do you recall seeing those photos?
Yes.
Ms.
And
Smith, can you hold off 1 moment?
oh, sorry.
Oh, he borrowed her car.
Yes.
Ooh, this is
do you
a
recall me showing you the photos of a Nissan Sentra before?
date smart,
Okay.
not Thursday.
And in showing you those photos, did those fairly and accurately depict how your Nissan Sentra looked back on August 30th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did it? Well, first, I'll move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 11, the PowerPoint of the Nissan Sentra.
Any objection?
No objection.
It'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 11.
Thank you, Judge. May I publish?
Yes.
Now, when you let Jarvis Butts
Je parlerai de ta bonté.
Borrow your vehicle. Did it look? Oops, sorry. Did it look how it was photoed?
The back was messed up, but the front was good.
Okay.
It was fixed.
So back in January 2024, your car still had the front end?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the only difference in how it looked
On
from?
photo, yes.
Okay. So that's the only difference in how it looked from January of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. When is it that Mr. Butts borrowed your vehicle?
January 9th.
Is that the first time?
Yes.
Okay. And you said there was a second time?
Yes.
When was that?
I think it was either the next day or the day after that day. I don't remember.
Okay. The first time, let's talk about the first time. How did it come about that he borrowed your car?
He called and asked if he can use my car to do something with his son.
Okay. And when is it that how did he get your car?
I didn't get home till about 9 o'clock and he came to my house.
Okay. Is that 9 a.m. or 9 p.m.?
9 p.m.
9 p.m.? Okay. And you said he came to your house and picked it up?
Yes.
Okay. To your knowledge, did Mr. Butts say how long he was going to borrow your car for?
No.
Okay. Did you have a time where you expected it back?
At least 2 hours.
Okay. When did Mr. Butts return with your car?
The next morning.
Was this normal, abnormal?
No, not normal.
Not normal? Okay. And did Mr. Butts say what he was doing when he had your car?
No.
Okay. Did you notice anything different about or in your car after his use that first time?
No.
Okay. Did you notice anything in the backseat that was different?
There was a pair of glasses that was left that my son was playing with at the time.
Okay. And I'm going to show you in People's Exhibit 11, photo 37. Where at would your son be sitting?
On the passenger side.
Okay, in the passenger.
On the back seat.
So you can kind of see it better in photo 41. He would sit behind the passenger seat?
Yes.
Okay. Describe the glasses that he was playing with.
I believe they were clear around the frame part. I don't know what the ends look like, but I do remember they were clear around the frames.
Okay. And I want to show you what's already been introduced as People's Exhibit 12.
Yes.
Is there anything in People's Exhibit 12 that you recognize?
The glasses.
Okay. How is it that you recognize those glasses?
They were clear just like that. The one my son was playing with.
Okay. Now, you said your son was playing with them in the backseat. How did you get them from your son?
I told him to give them to me because I didn't know who glasses they were.
Okay.
Girl, you are right. Because the more I'm listening to this, I'm trying to, catch it. Like, so I'm watching with y'all, and I'm catching it. This man seemed like a bona fide sociopath. He's just plotting and planning and always have an excuse. They don't follow by the rules and the law. But these women, y'all got caught up with this light-skinned guy and thought he was all that. And he preyed on y'all with it too. Oh my gosh. Ladies, you cannot put the wood stick before these children. We have to protect the children. That comes first. All right. Maybe you had a bad childhood. Maybe no one protected you, So don't take it out on your child because you had a bad childhood. You can make a change right now and break it. We have to speak up. Women are nurturers. If a child is with their mommy and daddy and they at a carnival, right? And for some sort of reason, I don't know, whatever, parade, whatever it is, for some sort of reason, the child gets lost away from the parents. What's the first person the child's gonna go to? Unless it's a police officer in a uniform, right? But if it's not a police officer in a uniform, gonna go straight to a woman. They're gonna go to a woman before they're gonna go to a man, because children look at mothers and women as nurturers, as they will be there. They would understand before they would go to a man. They will go to the man if it's a police officer, because they taught as a child, cops go to the cops. But however, so many women, they want, the wood stick got to come first. You can't tell them nothing. And like I said, us ladies, if you have friends like that, just cut them off. Tell them you just don't rock like that. That's just not how you are. That's all. And if they have a problem with that, toodaloo. See ya. Don't want to be ya. Resume.
How is it that you go to ask or come to ask Jarvis about these glasses?
Well, my son was playing with them when I was with Jarvis at his shop.
And I guess
The next day, I went up to the shop, and my son, like picking my son up from school. Jarvis was see his daughter.
Hold on one second. Pause that.
Back with the glasses.
I'm sorry, Donna. Why they got a fan spinning up in that thing? What, they don't got no central air unit or something in there?
Oh, I don't know. This is different. This is a really different courthouse.
This is a hood courthouse. The only thing that spins is that marble wall in the back, and it ain't that big. The judge, her hair is frizzing out. She's like, let's get this over with. That's why they got the fan on her.
Look, leave the courthouse alone.
I don't leave the courthouse alone. They did it to themselves.
But I'm not gonna lie. When I first did kind of see a couple of minutes, I was like, "What's up with this courthouse?" All right, let's resume, ladies and gentlemen.
From when Jarvis had borrowed your car and returned it to you picking up your son from school, had anybody else borrowed your car? Okay. So you're at the shop. You see your son playing with the glasses. You take them from him. Is that yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Now tell me, what does Jarvis do?
He snatched them from me and said those were his sunglasses.
Okay. And do you think anything of this at the time?
No, I just thought that was his sunglasses because he said he was taking his son somewhere in the car.
Now the second time that Jarvis asked to use your car, you said that was either the day after or the next day.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about how that comes to happen.
Well, he comes to my house when he got off work. He comes by to get my car. Said he needs to use it again for his son. I said okay, and he said he wasn't going to be gone for that long like he was the time before. I said okay, and he was only gone for like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. And are those the only 2 times that he ever used your car?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Were there times that he would be in your car with you?
Yes.
Would you take in places?
Yes.
My name is Tom Holman. I'm the former ICE director and president.
Have you had any contact with Jarvis since he turned himself in on February 7th of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that through?
Phone calls, get out, text, app.
Okay. And
You should pull that mic off the edge. Yeah, that way I can hear you. Okay. Thank you.
do you recall a phone call in which Jarvis asked you some things about your vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And you've heard that call before?
Yes.
Okay. And was that call that I played for you, is that a fair and accurate depiction of the call that you had with
Yes.
Jarvis and him asking you about the car?
Yes.
No, I'd move the admission of people's proposed exhibit 13.
Any objection?
No objection.
And Your Honor, may I publish?
Yeah, it'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 13, and you can publish. Can I also see Exhibit 12 when you get a moment?
Yes, Judge.
Mayor.
Yes.
For the record, this phone call is 6 minutes and 43 seconds long.
You didn't get what she said.
Wayne County Jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. The inmate has requested that you pay for this call. If you don't wish to talk, hang up now. Thank you for using Tony.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got one more for you to do. 313-207-2195. Hello? 207. 219.
217.
Huh?
217.
0.
Hello?
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 Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know what the fuck going on, man, but yeah, they done did everybody's shit.
You said what?
I said, I don't know what the fuck going on, but they done did everybody's shit.
Everybody shit. You know everybody house? They come to my shit? I don't even think they know of me.
But I need you to, anything that I had, anything that I touched, it's just for yourself, man. Anything about me, man. That's for your goddamn self. You feel me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Clearly.
Yeah, so just say go to my house.
Go on.
Yeah. Go to my house, man.
Sorry. How you calling me?
My house, I'm doing something, man. Like I was getting out of my house.
Three most important things that poop can tell us about joint pain.
I couldn't walk.
You in her car?
You gotta go home, use her car.
Okay. So don't use my car, though?
I don't know what's going on, bro. They're taking everybody out. Bro, use your mama car. You can drive around, man, trying to fix yourself with your mama car, man. Your brother carries somebody's car. This shit is beyond.
Okay.
This is beyond me. I don't know what this fuck, man. Clean the motherfucker up, something. I don't know.
My car?
Yeah, they got my phone, they got my car, they got their cars, they got their guns, I don't know what the fuck they do, bro. Yeah, but what the fuck did that got shit to do with me is what I'm saying. I got shit to do with me, man, and I'm not understanding what the fuck is going on, you feel me? I'll call you later, man. Like, I don't know what the fuck I got this shit, though. This shit's starting to piss me off.
Okay.
I'll get in touch with you later, man.
Okay.
All right. Hello? 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 Mm-hmm. You got your job, your regular job? Mm-hmm. Yeah. My regular job, 6:45. I'll call you about 7:30. All right. Wonderful.
Now, what is it? What did you think when Jarvis told you those things?
I didn't know what to think when he told me those things.
Okay. What did you do in response to receiving this call, if anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Did you clean anything up?
No.
Did you wipe anything down?
No.
Okay. And that would be in your house?
Yes. House, car,
Car?
everything.
Okay.
Didn't touch it, done nothing.
All right. So, just to clarify a little bit, Jarvis borrowed your car on the 9th,
Yes.
brought it back the 10th in the morning,
Yes. Yeah.
about 6 a.m. or so, or in the morning?
In the morning, about 8:30, 8 o'clock.
8:30.
I was taking my son to school.
Okay. And did he borrow it later that day again or the next day?
I can't remember if it was later that day or the next day. I just know he did it again.
Okay. I think they're good.
Good afternoon. Now, you indicated that you knew Mr. Butts since 2019,
Yes.
correct? You met him at the shop, correct?
Yes.
At his shop.
Yes.
Would you describe your relationship with him as a
Whole.
I'm sorry?
You said as a whole, we do.
Would you describe it as a physical relationship or was it a real relationship?
It was a physical relationship.
Okay, so you knew Mr. Butts was seeing other people, correct?
Yes.
All right, so that's not a surprise to you,
No.
correct?
The fact that he lied to me.
I'm already browsing the internet all day, and if I'm getting an ad, we're getting.
That's a surprise.
Okay.
I think they're good.
I had to rewind. I wanted to hear that. This commercial came up.
Good afternoon. Now, you indicated that you knew Mr. Butts since 2019,
Yes.
correct? You met him at the shop, correct?
Yes.
At his shop.
Yes.
Would you describe your relationship with him as a
Whole.
I'm sorry?
You said as a whole, we do.
Would you describe it as a physical relationship or was it a real relationship?
It was a physical relationship.
Okay, so you knew Mr. Butts was seeing other people, correct?
Yes.
All right, so that's not a surprise.
Okay, just like I thought. She's a silly woman. So you telling me you was staying at his shop and you was giving him your cookies, your body, and you knew he was out here seeing other women. Ladies, we must do better. This is unacceptable. You are too old to be doing this.
Yeah, because she was too old to give that knocky toppy.
Shame on you. And look at you, sitting there looking stupid. You staying there, giving your body, and knowing he out here with other. See, that's what I'm saying. Ladies, if you got female friends like this, just cut these heifers off. Just
She
cut them
looking
off.
stupid with them duck lips.
Looking silly. I know your girlfriends had to tell you something wrong with you. Why you doing this? But she ain't want to say nothing, cuz you got, what can I say? You got caught up with that, huh? Resume.
Surprise to you, correct?
The fact that he lied to me. That's a surprise.
Okay.
She probably gonna go and visit him when he locked up.
He would tell you he was coming over, and you wouldn't know where he was coming from, correct?
Yes.
That's nothing new.
That's nothing.
Okay. Do you know, besides your daughter with Mr. Butts, do you know Mr. Butts' other children?
I met quite a few of them.
Okay. Have you met any of the other mothers?
About two in the beginning of the relationship we had. He introduced me to about 2 or 3 of the mothers.
Okay. And have you had any issues with the mothers?
No.
Okay. So you know Mr. Butts works as a mechanic, correct?
Yes.
And have you ever seen him wearing safety glasses in the shop?
Yes.
Okay. Safety glasses are clear, aren't they?
They're not those.
They're not.
They're not the kinds that I've seen. No.
Okay. So he borrowed your car on the night, correct?
Yes.
And you said he came over around 9 p.m.
Yes.
All right. When he came over 9 p.m., was there anything out of the ordinary that you noticed?
No.
Okay. Did you have a conversation with him that day?
We swapped out cars.
Like I said, this is a channel about dating and relationships advice. So you giving him your cookies, letting him run around here and put his wood stick wherever and return it back into you and your cookies, correct? And he's taking your car? You the most silliest woman out here, boy. We got to do better. This is unacceptable. Resume.
We had a quick swap out cars, and he was gone.
And there was no other conversation that day? You didn't notice anything about his appearance? You didn't notice anything about his demeanor?
No.
Okay. And you say he came back the next day?
Yes.
All right.
The next morning.
Could he have dropped your car off later that night? Earlier that night?
No, he did not.
He didn't drop it off at, say, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning?
No, he did not.
Okay. And you said that your son, and forgive me, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there was a lot of things in this car.
Mhm.
Is that the condition the car always was in?
My son has his toys. There's always stuff in there, yes.
Okay.
But it's only my kids' stuff that be in my car because me and my kids are the only people that really be in my car, or my mother.
Okay. And your testimony is Jarvis Butts, prior to the night, had never been in this car before?
No, he's been in my car.
Okay.
He's been in my car. I take him places.
Okay. So your son finds the glasses,
Yes.
correct? And you say he finds the glasses, this would be on the 10th? He finds the glasses?
Yes, either the next day or whenever.
My grandfather always said when I was younger is that it's quality over quantity.
But I know the next day, it was the next day we went over. Yes, it was.
So you're not sure what day the glasses were
I'm
found?
not sure what day the glasses was found because I went to his job twice
Okay.
after that. So I don't know which day. I don't know if it was the 10th or the 11th.
So it could have been either day.
Yes.
All right.
But
And
it was in my car.
so your son was playing with these glasses.
Yes.
There was nothing remarkable about these glasses, correct?
They were just clear glasses.
And you couldn't identify the glasses and say, hey, these glasses were smaller than a normal pair of glasses. These must be a pair of kids' glasses, right? You couldn't say that,
He
correct?
said they were his son glasses. So is he saying as his son that when he was a kid glasses, right?
Okay. So he said they were his son's glasses.
Yes.
And
Mr. Robbins.
Take your time. You sure? I gotta call you one more right quick. Oh, okay. I got you. It's-
Go right ahead.
All right. So you said your son was playing with glasses, correct? And you took the glasses from your son, correct?
Yes.
And what did you do from once you took them?
He was playing with me when I was up there with Jarvis. When I took it from him, I said, "Do not your glasses." Jarvis took them from my hand.
Okay. So you didn't examine these glasses, correct?
I put that on his face, and he was playing with them on his face.
Okay.
So how can I not examine these glasses when I'm looking at my son with these glasses on his face?
You didn't study these glasses, correct?
No, I didn't study these glasses,
Okay.
but they were clear and they were on my son's face.
So later on, you showed a picture of Ms. Harris, correct?
Yes.
And you saw her wearing clear glasses as well, correct?
Yes.
At the time you saw her with the glasses, did anyone tell you that she was missing?
Yes, they did.
Were
And
you
they showed me the picture.
were you aware that she was missing?
From the news.
Okay. And were you aware that Mr. Butts was a suspect?
No, not at the time until they came to my door.
Okay. So when you told them that these glasses, you saw glasses similar to this.
I didn't tell them then.
Okay.
I didn't know about that until after.
All right.
It took me a minute to think about the glasses
So you came back and told them later.
when they came to my house.
Okay. That you saw a pair of glasses in your car.
Yes.
And the best you can say is that these glasses may be similar, correct?
They maybe was similar.
Right.
Yes.
You cannot testify that these are the exact same glasses, correct?
No, I cannot testify those are the exact same glasses.
Can you tell whether the glasses had prescription lenses in them?
I didn't put them on my face, sir. So how
So-
do I know?
Did your son say anything about that?
No, how would he know? He said he was, what, 6'7" high at the time. So how would he know what prescription glasses are?
BG, another silly woman. That's all. She's silly. Another silly woman. Resume.
You wearing prescription glasses, right?
Yes.
If you take them off, you see differently, correct?
Yes, but I did not put the glasses on.
Yeah.
So how will I know they were prescription glasses if I didn't wear them?
My question
My son
was-
wore the glasses, so how am I supposed to know? I don't have his eyes.
My question was, did your son say anything about the
No,
glasses?
He
didn't
was
say that.
playing with the glasses, and I told him to take the glasses off because we didn't know who glasses they were.
Okay.
I didn't know if they were prescription, so I told him to take them off. When he took them off, he handed to me. Oh, Jarvis said, "Oh, those are my sunglasses," and he snatches it from my hand.
Okay. And what did Jarvis do with the glasses?
I don't know. He went towards his car.
Okay. You didn't think anything else of the glasses, did you?
No.
Okay.
All he said was those were his sunglasses at the time.
You're employed?
Yes.
All right. And your Nissan, was that your primary mode of transportation?
No.
That was a secondary car?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't drive my car. I use my mom's car when I'm working.
So is Nissan your car?
Yes, it's my car.
Okay. And Mr. Butts called you and told you to drive someone else's car?
Yep.
All right. Just one moment. So when he told you that, you didn't do anything, right?
No.
You didn't think anything of it,
No.
correct? You didn't clean out this car, correct?
No.
So anything of Mr. Butts would still be in this car, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, Judge. Ms. Johnson, you were asked about knowing that Mr. Butts was seeing other women.
Yes.
But you said he lied about things.
Yes.
What did he lie about?
About how many women, if he was still dealing with the women,
Um,
everything, pretty much.
okay, so you didn't, fair to say you wouldn't know how many. Okay, and did you know that he would be dealing with women at the same time as he was dealing with you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm going to object at this point. I'm not sure what the relevance of that is as to this.
Yes.
How many women did he-
Yes, BG. I remember.
You have a response?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it goes to whether or not he would be like whether he's secretive about things, whether he would know about.
He's very.
1 second, Ms. Johnson.
Yeah.
It's okay, 1 second.
I mean, that was really the extent of the question.
It was asking Ross how
Yeah.
many women he slept with.
Yeah.
And whether she knew.
Yep.
That was really the extent of
Silly
the question.
woman. Yep. You
Okay,
see,
well,
you
ask the
see it
question
too.
again.
You see
Yeah.
it too.
Was he a secretive person to you?
Yes, he's very secretive.
Okay. And when he told you a reason why he wanted to use your car, did you have any reasons to think that that might not be true?
I honestly thought it was for his son. So, you know, whenever he says anything about his kids, I believe him when it comes to his kids. I thought he was a great father to his kids. That's what he put on to me, but
So that's what he led you to believe.
yeah.
Okay. Nothing further.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a couple of follow-up questions.
Go ahead.
Now, you said that he was secretive, correct?
Yes.
And that's when it came to women, correct?
Yes.
That bothered you, correct?
I mean, it would bother anyone when a man is supposed to be telling you the truth and he being really secretive about everything. And you're being honest with them.
So you were upset about that?
Honestly.
So you were upset about that, correct?
About him being with other women, cheating? Not really, because I was doing it too. How about that? You all gotta be quiet.
No further questions.
Did we just hear she trying to get what they call her lick back? Whoop. Is that how you do it? No. This is not how we do it, ladies. Mm-mm. You upset that he's cheating? What you do is move on. That's all. Not go out here and start cheating. He's cheating, and everybody ping pong. And I guess they're not using condoms. Is that smart to do? So, with that little statement that you did right here in the courtroom, like you thought you was hurting him, you made yourself look silly. Because we're watching this. And we're like, really? 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 Oh my gosh. Let's put silly on her forehead. I wish I could put a silly right there. Silly woman. Silly woman. Resume.
Any last questions? Okay, you're done, Ms. Johnson. Okay, is that the last witness for today?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, anything else that needs to go on the record before we end today?
Well, I didn't know she was that short. Okay.
Okay, we're off the record. Back here at 10 o'clock.
Yes, Judge.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, you see how everybody's laughing and giggling in the courtroom, right? Just want to let you know. You don't get caught up because everybody's friends with each other. They know each other. They come in here every day. All right, I think I can end. Oh yeah, this ends. All right, well, I just let the cutie pie play. You know he's fine, and you are, sir. You are. All right, so let's end this one. So tomorrow I'm gonna do some more. I'm just gonna end this here. Yeah. What I'm saying. Yeah, this is about. Yeah, just leave it like that. It's over. But thank you everybody here for engaging. Thank you for hanging out with me late night. And I'll be doing it again tomorrow, probably in the evening, and then Sunday in the evening. Yeah. Saturday and Sunday in the evening to catch up and everything. What's up? Oh, what just happened here? Okay. Well, whatever it is. I don't know what this was. Whatever. Don't pay that no attention. All right. So everybody, ladies and gentlemen, have this as a blessed and a safe night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for hitting the like button. And stay tuned for some more. And Susie Q, I don't know. Did you email me everything? Please email me. Please email me. Because ladies, email me and stuff if I don't have an email. Because I want to have a ladies' night. We're gonna have a discussion. For the New Year's. Just let's ladies talk. Have a couple of topics I want to talk about with the dating and relationships. Kind of focus on that one. And just girl talk, whatever. All right. Stay tuned for some more of Donna just being real. Date smart, not thirsty.